Well, we have a call, Yamo Kwaba, Eba Jasu Jumedi, so we're live on OK 101.7 FM and all the way from Ship House, Ewo Abeka Junction, any Dr. Father Dixon, and Edumano, any production team no, led by DOP Edibedi Mr. Kojo Hansen, and in animal Mobuaning Nansa, and after DJ All Black. And you may have more good evening because and there appears to be big issues. I was say a come once because these are constitutional issues. A family you and a Ghana and Kosovo and Ghana future because now our constitutional review committee commission now President Mills Tiase or Tie ma so madwuma abo mo so no finally President Mahama Baye was sent to adwuma ne ma almost omonto aso no womonye they have finished and the recommendation committee na ba no obi be say to blow your mind. It will blow your mind. But some of them I expected. And no man na no me betna no ma me can say. President Kufuor Befia Konya so 2007 2008. President Kufuor in fact 2009 7th January. Was it even 7th January? I think it was before 7th January. Professor Mills winning 2008 elections so no. Now also I didn't call round. Usually they do something I think around on the 5th of January na President Kufuor so President Mills and sa Edniko Jubilee House, then the coach Abraham Ababe Juma. And in that context, now President Kufuor can, I think, be very profound. President Kufuor can say, sir, a constitution now, one may limitations are buying beer, but not so. Man of 4 term, which is 1 term. 1 term near 4 years. Yan Sakayawum, Nanka, enye 5 years. Even President Kufuor at a point he was saying, say, a bimoko countries be more 7 years, but at least Ghana there. And Kenya 5 years, so that will be a proper 4 years. How to be Juma because so that's not literally first year no Juma. What they appointed ministers, what they appointed board, what they appointed CEOs, what they appointed one with Bola commissioner. Yeah, they are constitution say just a what president or appointed into first year so unya da Juma. I just said from second year ne kono and unya da Juma. Kufuor di President Kufuor atem just because the suggestion was coming from President Kufuor. Fire burn all of you. Mo amoye President Kufuor na fire burn all of you. No mo nananum. Because at same way President Kufuor de buy adventure, it was a very laudable adventure. And truly, sa sem na President Kufuor can ne well President Kufuor on a constitutional review commission for any relationship. Yeah, but this is what Atamil's constitutional review commission. President Mahama Constitutional Review Commission in the buy say, yeah, 5 years. Said the Abaya President Bia Betanaswa, minus how 1 year no, the Baya appointment no, obeti menya full 4 years ya, or the Baya Juma. So fire burning. Number 2, fire be burning mo. Yeah, NDC, the Fia Mekbo, any other MPs now, almost sponsor private members bill. I call parliament said the Baya be present term no. Yabema President Mahama 3rd term said and also fire burn all of you. The fear me sponsor private members bill for OSP. Nina Yera first a general secretary, bona fide general secretary of National Democratic Congress, NDC, if say fire burn all of you. What's the president only interested in 3rd term? You see, sometimes when brains are working, when people who are concerned about Ghana Democrats, Ghana welfare, Ghana or China, when people are concerned about legacy, omo kasana, omo pe nkura grow no, omo di foot Roma grow from no, no omo ye dede. All those people know of no, atem. Even when I came to suggest here, omo di matem. And then my boys ni we dey no ma frame ya catch me, omo di matem, but then there, me say, ensure be ya board me ye didi matem over 20 years. Atem didi sesani pa, enka mo bra no America no. And go no kwa necessary me kala and go no kwa necessary and go mama ye short because no did but but still so aburo boy team because you see I'm saying when intellectual discourse is the order of the day when a nipa who wants knowledge they don't care when there's disagreement because in the growth of knowledge that is where disagreement say disagreement ama nyansa anymore. It is only when we disagree and a beman in fact, Osha Bible Mukrani at the Genesis Nimrod, or he be or buy or see a friend in Nimrod, or see NC Tower. Nani penny answer one place. What did God do? God gave them different languages so that different mindset, different opinions will come. Into obi a ɔse gye sɛ obi ne na yɛ adwene ansa na ma penasem no nipa no adwene no come match pass wo ayi efre say I told you so no so abrobo ayi efre say John Bob Ko kan asem bi so e come match pass wa bond wa adwene no come match pass wa abo ano we je wa cause trade the crowd baby nipa nam no na wa adwene no nam ho because we need to disagree so that Nimdia can come. President Mahama or different party, Kufuor or different party, but look at what their Constitutional Review Committee in Ekayen, because they want Ghana can't cross. President Mahama kudos. President Mahama Nyakupon shall say you didn't abandon the work now, bra, Professor Mills started, you know, that you have continued the work that your brother Professor Mills started. And what the Ababe say the aka any Jumana kitchen that the Constitutional Review Commission or more recommendation or more the abano. The Edibaya Jumania constitutional amendment, baby, say a referendum. Let's do it and change it. But you didn't say a constitution way, and papa, because it was done in a rush. This is the constitution that was done without everybody being on board. In any case, even Krobia Bemo, a process, yes, America for constitution, they can't say UK for constitution, they can't. It's gone through various UK for new paper constitution, but they have a constitution that is not a paper constitution, but they have rules. And these rules have gone through years and years of amendment. So was a Ghana, so you say a common law, no, it has to change. And even though the fear make money other people, no, President Mama on something else to tell them that is not the property because President Mama bet me training will be even within these 4 years. See, President Mama bet me training at forcing, obet me training Julius Zebra, obet me training Professor Genopoko, the Macram, what baby did not yet Yansa, any back of foot. And the 4 years, obet me touch, go, leave a major legacy that. How many years now Nkrumah nya? And Nkrumah just got 6 years. What then 57 no come 9 years but look at the legacy that he left. A champion how many years? But a champion see dan sumai. A champion the years that our present day modern day leaders niya. But a champion is forever remembered. When Nyashekran you remember a champion for what? Operation Feed Yourself. Operation Feed Yourself. Or papa no buy ya mobosia from baby. Papa no buy ya to me ma ye dear bra money export ye bro. And in the phone ade o mako school acquire doctor so and so aba na chinyina. How many of them have been able to achieve the success, even just agree the success of the champion? How many of them? No. Enti mama President Mama nya peace of mind 94 years no one year no onye. Na yem focus on ye maybe to say the AGA. Ye Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayini, me pacho o kasa dodo. Dr. Ayini, o kasa dodo. Stop talking and do the work. You have just 4 years to deliver. Dr. Ayini, these are the people who they will be disappointed President Mahama. No. Dr. Ayini, I'm mentioning your name. 1. Dr. Ayini, 2. Dr. Ayini, 3. Please stop their press conferences and focus on the prosecution. So also what they want to me back on January. Wait, what was that? Bronya Brem, your press conference. And Dr. Ayini, Bronya Brem, your press conference. To me, chain. Am I in January? Prosecute. I mean, I support. Would the other prosecute would to me a Supreme Court prosecute him? But all these needless press conferences, the plenty talking, the fanfare, the pomp and pageantry, the talking, the commentary. What does that achieve? Does that amount to evidence? You cannot turn press conferences into admissible evidence. This one, even class 1 law students, we know. You can't turn press conferences into admissible evidence. It is not admissible. All those things that you are saying, hearsay. Akwai Signals Bureau, akwai asemi about you. I didn't say, nah, no, the kind of, person, yeah, euphoriata, prisoner exchange. Massa, even me cry, me a law student to cry, me cry, me say, there's a different legal system operating in the US. Dr. Ayini, what go school or US? You know this. US system. Number 1, Oforiata is not a prisoner. So what are you talking about prisoner exchange with the US? Now, you see, Dr. Ayini, I think that in the press conference, in his mind, do you know his audience? He thinks he's talking to all food soldiers. Because how can you tell us a prisoner exchange with Oforiata against Abu Trika? You are thinking about what Kokwanasi story is this? What cock and bull story is this, Dr. Ayini? Because of Oyata, onye, in any case, Abutrika, they are born it is burning that affects US citizens. Burning that affects US government, federal government tax interest. Oh, for instance, so he's not a fugitive. What you know, say, me waha, me operation waha, me wa hospital. He provided we with the first address of the hospital. So it's for that I'm saying. Oh, for lawyers, so you are constantly in contact with them. So what is this? You only put an APB and I say, oh, missing person, a wanted person, that will be when the person has not made any contact. But you are constantly dealing with Oforiatta lawyers. So what a cock and bull story is. In any case, Dr. Ini, wouldn't him say Interpol? You know the phone number of Interpol, Anna. Can you not call Interpol and say that this person is wanted in Ghana? And we are trying to bring him, assuming you don't even know Oforiatta's address, which is not true because you know his address. Dominica Ini, Doc Way, Doctor, please stop the needless press conferences. Focus on give President Mahama some proper prosecution. In any case, what the affair no crown to change. How do you justify the fact that NDC focuses they were filing nolly prosecutor and you are filing cases against Wontumi? That morally, that's double standards. Corruption, corruption. Corruption doesn't change color when it's NDC corruption. Corruption doesn't change color when it's MPP corruption. Corruption is corruption. Nina GOG money. A government of Ghana money. It's genuinely, objectively. And yet, be a person who fire MPP for. And I said, "And I'm not and this is person who go MPP. You want to frustrate them? Me see want to be there. Me on your madam. In any case, what mind? Yes, me prosecuting. But I'm saying, say we see corruption. Will be a fraudulent misrepresentation. Or my first Fesika. They raise invoices. Say fake invoices. Yes, prosecute. But I'm saying, say, and then Saglemi housing. Yes, a contractor and see that say contractor and see that no. The OC and so I will see the phone. Also a septic tank wanye road wanye. In the end, all the Saglemi projects, it is quarter of the money that was given to the contractor. I know they were filing only prosecutor. But obedient, where is the justice? Nina any government of Ghana money ana. Nina any government of Ghana money. January. Don't come and do any press conference. We are warning you 1. We are warning you 2. We are warning you 3. January, Chroma, remember a press conference. Just go straight to court. Opa, press conferences in a video recordings court. Now say if it will be admissible. You see me, I'm a class 1 and you say video press conferences does not transmogrify itself into admissible evidence. Into Jumana President Mahama, don't come and disappoint him. We have proper things to do. 4 years to President Mahama. 24-hour economy. What would this with the President Mahama? Only diaspora for Asia. The diaspora people who can be the engine of the 24-hour economy. Diaspora for now, who be Ghana, China, Dubai, no many. No, they are working. They are stores in United Juma 24 hours. Those things na President Mahama did diaspora for Abegu Ghana. So may be. Make us say me black is part of this 24-hour economy. They've made all the roadworks in for ports, maritime industry, shipping, so that the 24-hour economy we take off. Miami Bra is part of this. And to who are you be distracted? They be out there. Who they need a 24-hour press conference from 24-hour economy now by now. Why your legal framework? I'm a 24-hour economy. Left in a hono. What a 24-hour press conference, and a press conference, and we have press conference, and you make press conference, and make press conference. What is this, Aini? What is this, Doc? Stop the press conference, focus on the prosecution, and give President Mahama and the Ghanaian public some proper results. It does not lie in your mouth. And maybe I make some go to be a mechanic of what was the time for you. It does not lie in Naini's mouth. Say, you're guilty or not. Ghana Constitution, you must say. And for that matter, Constitution, even their criminal jurisprudence rights on that, the presumption of innocence. So Obia is innocent until proven guilty. What they want no prosecute Obia Ghana? Not any other. Law no the law lecture what be move, but stop letting the propaganda and the politics blind you. Stop letting the propaganda and the politics blind you. See from President Mahama, he's a unifier. This is somebody who wants to leave a legacy. Said you be kokra you be kind it send Nkrumah. That's what Joyce Bawa Muntari no no. That President Mama is the Nkrumah of our time. Now would you need the press conference and enumere ahomachi ade. Yeah, brand press conference. We don't have time for any needless press conference. Yeah, Juma ni who say, oh yeah, Juma, simplicity. Press conferences yeah, they call him. Say can be woman kwajebra, interest woman kwajebra. He ever being a school feeding, no. You ever been to Uncle Foka? You see a 2-year contractor Foka from 2017. We need all that money to pay them. Sakti kano kwajebra, you bet me the years aglemino. Yeah, fine, yeah, crowd, the emfa police for any teacher for a year first, a soldier for uncle. What is this? The BR press conference, needless press conference. This is Jasu you made it live. Okay, 101.7 FM. So near partner radio station. They were live on NASPA. You're live on King's Jersey Radio, or live on Highlight Radio or Virginia. And you're live so Ewo Adafopa Media. Me got 2 FM so peke live. Ewo kukre to me. This is Vim Lady. I have so okay FM. But to me also view Saba. Now I say, me wrong and patrol to me fire me. It's allowed. Insults 9 years. Oh yes, I say wow, you are exposing your low IQ. But to me, fire me be so vim where the fire. That's the beauty of the game. Fire selling the beer be style beer person here. But today we are going to go into Constitutional Review Committee. No, yeah, more committee for now, so chaired by Professor H. Prempeh. Kudos. My year Juma papa mama Professor Mills. Senya say nipa wu anu wu a. Ye nyina nim say nipa wu anu wu bibi ani wo. Bible no crack on Ecclesiastes so say one enim so okrama the wu and spirit to come from. No nipa the wu and spirit to come. We are all going to sleep. And to resurrection, yes, to be free will be so Professor Mills. But en kaye nananom kan answer asem adu yekura Professor Mills will be jubilating. Say Juma no starting here no. Professor H. Mensa Prempeh o committee no. Motimi ewie sa adwuma no. You did not put Professor Mills to shame. That's a yeoman's job. And amaya amode boa Ghana. So 5 years. And as I say, President Bettina Konyaso Obenya, if you hear the necessary constitutional amendment near G2 the proposal is President Bettina Konyaso Obenya 5 years. No to me to no boy Juma. First year need their appointment, not for the satisfied party food soldiers. 4 years no what tobo at the boots on the ground. You have to make your hands dirty. Why Juma no said they also Juma. A crime bema will probably talk about Pandaka, but that's your fire MPP for no. Anyone more prime is no more than and Tokano. The woman Natoshi, hey. Natoshi said, but we campaign is Natoshi to slow down. I think that the work that Natoshi here ama Kennedy Japan hated Baumia team no. And we think ama Baumia team na kofa Atachia did no abano. But Atachia last minute work no. So he's kind of caused some commotion big akra. But I think the focus should be on said they're not ebinum canon. Marketing your candidate. But I think one of the damage that Natoshi is doing is say Okobi I know a catcher delegates when I have a right to change my mind. And I've changed my mind because A, B, C, D. No, I said the answer to say because Baumia cannot win the general elections. Hey, punchline. And when I work against Baumia, no. And when Baumia come for news and no, yeah, to assume an actor she has idea we could see January or we are a vote. It's young for Address from that. And also the man coach Address of ye. And Address of to Becan. The Okan, and of course, he also saw that Kennedy Japan, I bonnie in the past, I was Cassetian when she was sick, Nibanso Yarinti, and you'll be paying back. But the coaching should have gone on well for Address of so that on Becase. Oh, now, Kenny back on for me. That one day, and she was sounding selfish, and they are no idea. But quickly, and I have to give it to Baumia's team. Quickly, now, no Mujano, young over Atachi, and no Messimu. And Atachi also did a good job for Baumia team, was same. But I think kudos to Kennedy Japan team for them to bring Natoshi on board, no, because that is kind of making Kennedy Japan look good. Natoshi coming in, no, is making Kennedy because Stekamu Yinani idea but Natoshi is a big fish, and 2 or your bar. And the argument that kind of attacking man, Natoshi going to South side, no kind of whitewashes Kennedy Japan born in a makes Kennedy Japan looks good over there. Everybody will also look at MPP primary. So at last minute, this is the time. Buga. Sometimes when you now cross from one camp, come back, Obi be board you kun at watching. Obi be kun at watching. What I say? Oh, you delegates. This is the time you study. Obi you Obi tika stay there. Now oh, Gia cross carpet. This Obi be kun. Ode. Say kofo kun omo ba money. Omo board you omo ma money. What one money kun. Now no be sending me test message so first John Kumanam say more and more Mini abema Captain Smile ko kan na politics ntini ekum John Kuma. Afa the same people no John Kuma yire ko ware ya na John Kuma let's investigate the woman. And ono no waku ni kru. Hey, mo say John Kuma ye be fan vice ntina yakunu. Afa dia na yire ko ware ya mo se na yire. Muni analytical brain bia ho. Muni asem bia aka. Nti be ma na ko ware ya nka ne mo nka na oba de sebe na ha mu no mfa dua nko wom. Excuse my French, mpacho. Me nkasa but oba na bi ono ko anam no mpese bia ne man ye teenagers. Ope boafo kakra. We leave the woman. Let's leave God to judge. Said you any you and you leave it to God to judge. After all, nyina will go before God. We'll go before God. Ye nyina ayo Ghana head ye nim say emre bia. In fact, that number case, judge, you know what that number case him cry answer that question say. Ade ba ko tete aware mu ye owuo any divorce. And this obi ni obi aware no nipa no wu a. The marriage is no more. There's no more marital contract. And it's a one party now what can decide this or besan ko ware bie ma. Oh, and also be follow a memory because Ghana for any to be out and cranio. We are ceremonial yen I ya mamma ye follow. To a banis or any kuna ye. Brebi so open. Or no to be a chachali. Eh, cassette uncle for back uncle me easy. Yeah. Me babro chena mu enya abroche we kra na maybe anami tu kwa abroche na one time be nam tu kwa I think New York winter time UN program bi awurade nyankopon me ankasa me no me ho ana mu abroche for no mo nko ate no masa inti no mo fa gas ne ade no se edru winter na nko na oda wo heater kra no to de bi abeka se heater no kra 40 I want to me basa na wadwin bom what so heater no ba won tewe bra no sasha wo ha emfa what no sasha wo nantem emfa wo baka ko fo obi abeka ho masa body no be firewood sir sometimes we must understand ourselves say ye nipa ye nyanua me say wo be so heater enye wo de ko standing one na wa won say wo be fra wo na ya abroche for me ya ro kire me no say girls for me ya ro kire me amonje top connect sika ni bi mo ma ni send musika ro kire me no no wade hey mama John Kuba wife ni nkwadawati na ankona me bi oda na do anketenkete kra che no loneliness depression for you know this decision no depression am making this decision say oda na do a o ma de so ma da o na ka nko ana oda dem sa no man na the same room kro mo da for mo da paso masa sometimes e bia o suggestion bi kra which we say ankona enti na bi no ho no so onware but obepe partner no nenete masa it's allowed mon pe partner. The woman could have done that. So worry bear man on any better. Me, and that's what I would have done. Me worry, me no better. In any case, confirm say a branch any beji John Kume Japadi. I worry to me beji a Japadi and son oba. That is the law. Supreme Court quacker a Japadi over 2 years. To me beji. And John Kume Japadi away jam or ban bear man for now, but on to me beji. Until Busha for but you must slow down. You have nothing to fear. Why? Ebi obi obebo na ma wahwe nkola no ntimu amu interest yenko eyino so ne heni mpenifo no mini abema Philippa ya batoko amita fe na toku waba wa ahoma no so no ye PhD wa broche awoguso awosua na de and I like what the NDC is doing. NDC is trying to push an agenda bia omo pese omo dey a lot of young people omo ya akada enti na ye me ya MPP for no mo MPP for na mo start senka party a mo de akrache for ne omo ma be na chechire mo party judgment san ba no aye adwuma international level hakama wo so adwuma ba no aye adwuma international level your friend saying just MPP for there or nanado those me say me yakola papa to me friend better TV ho na de kumi papa kra ne say nanado started your press atema o kakwa bia shadanti na papa wu say akrache for party no papa he was MPP e whatever you see enti those things, you know, MPP, but no more cratch for apreku by apreku, Dr. Konedo apreku. Your friend apreku, accommodate tomatoes. Tomatoes. Say, cratch with your brooch. Now, MPP for now, more cratch for party. More they cratch for a team of party 92. A new patriotic club. And son, I'm a new patriotic party. Ye be a chance for multi-party democracy. Mumum. I don't want any abronya level moody atem. Nkoma for bloggers and social media na mudidi atem and NDC for NDC target is by 2032 they will have about 1,000 lawyers in NDC 1,000 doctors in NDC but the mountain na mudi agro ya batoku osua do PhD obeka no na aye ne kura ma na just say PhD na moti wona nti standard na more MPP for more set and NDC for AHC no. And when the NDC is able to attain that standard and even overcome that standard, who they even set a crowd the NDC. NDC nipa phone NDC mo. Say so the NDC. Now more we are creative for party more sign politics. We have to elevate the politics that we are doing. It's about some penny form very learned people. Nana so very learned financial consultant no to on any packet. So soon they are only one in school or tin abroach or energy said they are about to put in abroach or soon. Financial consultant. No, I'm a year first saying why Forex Bureau for the Dow Jones, no idea. US stock exchange run and I'm on big guy. Until more MPP for my some much now gumu party, I'm more masem. Muno, yet ya muguna, ya bema mo amplifier, no moguno. Say more de muye. Now no pandaya sembaye. It took the same MPP for catch for Gary Nimakuma Mitchell salute. Gary Nima, in fact, this is 1 o'clock catch a Gary Nimakus. I was somewhere then I'll burn. The crowd were being do. Young men no more case no bunkan forms or tamale. Gary Nimakube was still of execution. Bandai elections, just stop no. This is how brains work. When intellectuals decided to make a bomba mama yejuma solution ayenya. If you look at what Dr. Atufosi or buy ya kobia and can people because the doctor for ya kola or kodi line so that ben or buy and to Atufosi by look at what Atufosi is doing. Minimum Atufosi. Me a journalist and son Atufosi by parliament. All starting out Atufosi ya madam minimum producer kojo for Johnny and consultation yet osu. Restaurant be one aya kotna. A corner here to force in for plan. Young man, and then Atufosi is finance minister. And then the MPP are being forced to copy that. Now Dubai, he tried to do a little bit of that. John Jinapomu, you know, more Juma. Oh, Asenso. No, I am the chief of staff, deputy chief of staff. And within MPP, the people attacking another than all these small boys way. But look at what John Mahama has done. He's taking them another year to another level, even expanded it. First, chief of staff. And this is how the more intellectuals we find, the more it's a challenge to generation. We say obi obenya position biano should be solution oriented. That's what we have to get to. And yes, a man Cochrane said MPP by na Hackman who's like mine. Where Juma Papa yen no sign about Chema. Oh, JDA. Grandpa, oh, JDA. Board chairman, my colleague no met now so. Into a colony a board chairman now, oh, share chile. Or by there be a week and know about our consultations. I can't Penny to so I sang from Nantadium. What the America, the other to American Cochrane politicians, you don't know your mob. Or more system, oh, any system, maybe. To me, if you want to do more, Donald Trump, he cannot do what he wants. Or sign executive order that's a better right in the interim. And one more thing, federal New Hampshire, just the small gay bitty baby was in my chum. That is American law. Every day, I go Ghana, Pandidian, Tamale court to say and quiet. Supreme Court say a chum, stay of that is rule of law. And to the Constitution Review Commission, I say free necro. We are MP, I am foul as minister. No, hey. That alone may bomb about 1,000,000%. Because this is what will give us the proper separation of powers. And yes, we are MP, Abeko Parliament, any penny ho. Obu ministers. Obi MP of forces Abeko Parliament, that day are papers. Obi NG post be a parliament at parliament here, Juma. On Tiasia Koshepo. Say, we are parliamentarian, I are parliamentarian. You can anchor some God Munino Munya money being it. You obey Juma, MP. Only MP, so many minister, the minister. I like that. I was President Mama. I know the one girl to my no back. You back demonstration here every day. We are going to be free. So, sir, I know they accept it. Mama, I'm fine. Yeah, Juma. Into my mom, good evening. Nana, if you Mama,
yeah, just stuff here. Now, what to say?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Off fire. Oh, master, papa.
Sister, brotherhood. This is what Casa moment. Your mom was.
I think that and yet even the sexual aspect, right? To be free, a juma bar. What I say, what bread, Ubino, na bonkomo, Pediani be crazy. What I say, that is a welcome master of outdoors, but all the film never day. Bibia before. Ever Kunya we so and cheer Ghana Punyanara. Name of Bibia of Shapa. You say, Ampeno, Korea, Akaka Trebina, a donable. And today, you best Ghana Punyan is a drop of 40 kilo. And yet to say, me con and tell me, ban and tell baby, I won't say. I know because Timbia Mekasam says, the Nimpa and the teacher of mine. And the at least young intimate to us who and Lusu young Kofo, especially a rubber for and then so soon a quickly among booty and the way the Yamo Mafia panel. Now, you to your home. I feel so, you have a party, you have a club, you are quite happy. Our phone so, and Kuala I am a fee. Said be into be Jama Ajija Musa, Emma and Incomo, a mobile official pa. Na Miss Ampa Kunya we so and chair, President Mahama. Or car or sure. It did a boy man say, or car obey, yeah, or car obey. Is the via no pay and that is a Ghana. Chair President John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency. Now, Okasa no can be brave. Zambia, no account for the case you say, is the via. Or no, only the last super, some of us are politics. Because ye the yen, Sebi, you have been legacy. Intino, or no, Timbia Mekama say, or any reason to feel Ghanaians. No. Now, if you means Mr. Catcher, or knows what Canada, I say, the third term number can uncle. But Ayana Yema, who I say, certain president, now Yenya Ghana for a Kwama say, ye shake a Juma o yedia, Yenya Gabatwas. Or no and mammy, Monkey can say, I say the politicians, younger ones na Evan, you should be maybe free sad young. Because uncle, if I'm telling you on authority, so on any mentality say we are better. But say I get cross a Ghana for ye did you the Musa, you hear baby a normal, baby another dollar and Jimmy upper form. You share the big push agenda. You share how we say our presidency. I kono. Ama necessary is the OPC a ben. What a young leadership is so attractive. Ama Jenna Mama say, and 66% Ghanaians say, money as so dear why they owe it. Intino, they make catch any young politicians, any in Yakunya, Casa, and say, Bayamon, Semin, say, yes, you be free, His Excellency, don't Dramani Mahama. Now, Mr. Vakunya, we so answer and cheer me region. So Western region. And the others over the weekends is the fear alcohol many years. You hear from Takrade to a Grand Panta road, you know. Papa ne yadi be a kind of funny man.
I want yes, I know.
Yes, I know. You know. Do a carriage route from Takrade to a Grand Panta.
Because I quite a Papa, me national service or minimum it's area.
Yes, but it's the fear the question is a provocative or quiet. And Busa say, a pound 1 year. And I will know for contract and the say a cabia kakra. A honano was shared the finance minister. You are to force and say, hey, a cabia can be around. Penetia. Now a pan and possible. Oh, they be said, I think over the weekend here, last week here, and I think say by next week, maybe
the money making sure contract has been paid too.
That is it. But if we are all be. Oja legacy no which any nyina say na na do metem bia maka instead bia ye metena anye MPP NDC sa 1992 politics no atwam mabu na ye nyakunya say ye politics instead bia ye ka de wo because politics ni nyina is about development because me matena grasida matena de grasida ene nyame ye madoma ba America me ba America do mean development me na me papa so me go school papa. And you know, Sabia, you organ, you to me, sad, you call one question, yes, similar. What you say, you to me, say, MPP, mine, Nanado, and I really will be Amachiano. We do my transfer one year. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna put the Susu say, the new man tell you, while you be to expectation, and I talk about this son at the NDC about. And they do a next NDC when you say, Casa. Young Kai say, you need a campaign platform. It is the fear you begin ha me ye MPP NDC the Ghana for 2 million share in San say yenye dwuma and ye say ye na so money what you say ntino me hwe the big push agenda na so MPP aban e hyase do do ho hyase bi but John Dramani Mahama it's excellence by me say bia o ntwam o toa so and the me just say o toa the legacy ya papa for kan asem ya papa fifi atamus ya memfa na currency o kan asem iso obedu no so na do so buy the normal na do ntia ye na ye ni susu say eye papa na ediga na sika ye ne ntoa so ama me yen say ono so nkopon money dey na say nya taxpayers money this bia what you say ntino me bona baso na me bona baso through the initiative why they wafa say obeto no ma bia hu osusu say eye papa na ontoa so what you say e bi say ye Kumasi Express Road. Say nyame adom na say ebebo atanse na yetumi bia. Hwe the hwe normal de beba. What you say? Hwe normal tumi ba. So ko ho ko hwe project big push agenda. Your call ebia okọ sunyane what you say okọ doma hino enan so hwe normal de tutu afam. Ba yenya aka na yesese yetumi boa. Ama sa normal no tiste fia ebebo atanse a. O my Ghana say bio ebeba be kra behwe. What you say? No wonder say any a free Ghana. So who can say we do be na say we Ghanaian na. We won't say some level of respect. What you say? The amount level of respect.
Even in America, me boy.
It's one American who say no. And you know, you perceive some of us, and when you see you lose sad dignity, no, you lose sad again a kind of woman. And they say in Yakunya say this stuff here, Kasa, in Yakunya say yeah politics. What you say? Me to be a person say we come to them say it just say nipa who preoccupy. You watch it yatemu and then so yakunya say oh some of my Ghana some say you ubeja dimpa Kwame Nkrumah obai but here so many years over 60 years old e din wo ye papa for otiase and amafo boni din e de kasem what you say ye papa Tamis kakra bi obeye amafo boni din e de kasem and say na ye nya akonya say ye kasa ye ni no ma bi a sebe say agichima be kansem bi dia ade abataye. What you say? Yeah, Nanado, Tema, President Mahama, one Nana 24, Nana Piao, and pay a Yuri Michel, maybe I will be a when you couldn't be said, Mamma Yan, a self to say, a so be a sound correct, we do no sign for. So Mamma Yan say, yeah, you will lose elections. What you say? But so also, yeah, they're not the best born in pa. Forget about some lose election. So to me, yeah, Sano man na sebi a dimwa, Nimpana the bear campaign among. This is your politics as the sound. This is no Yakunya, now so bear politics, now we gain 1992, 1995. Politics in the team will be failing. They say we are talking about ideas, we are talking about solution, we are talking about development. What you say? Sister Via, Indiana, Yanni Mabuna, they bear politics, did not think I am about for the case in so. Me doing that dirty politics, no. What you say? Because me want say because and your like-minded Ghanaians are step 8 years me no me. What you say? Ah, muni mnya na se ba kunya ne nya. Nti sebe kunya say oh kasa. Ye ma ye kasa honti. Ye hu say we are coming to solve problem. Nti na member tena say NDC for mo to aba my say ye be bo Ghana. Nti na ye megina ma ye political equalization. Say MPP ye say atwam. Nti na Ghana for over 1.7 million voters eto abadi ti omo. Nti ye ne the Ghana for catcher and say, the Jumashamunsa, yen. And I do to say, you must say, Juman, yeah, and I yen. What you say? Yeah, and I yen, because young and Ghana for do not country, don't mind Mahama say, you should say, the Washer sense, and because said the next 4 years to us. What you say? And you know, I think say, sir, advice now, what they are the young politicians, you know, evaluate them. Politics in Nanya say, Menko a dime degree, Menko Trasaku, Menko cantonment. For and the mimi whom for seven or more constituency and many what you say to be a country Western waiting for and said or more say actual about more money now. One year means a politics is about say buy and winning a coupon. I'm not going to Abama because you would do come and feel West, I'm a fee central, Manfi Easter. Ya two about the amount said you NDC for what you say. And I'm not for Gigi woman to me at
least Kakrano now.
Dakana why?
You break it down. Age nominate Constitutional Review Commission as Semina. And I am any opening comment.
Sister Via, my official pa.
Yeah,
Yeah, Philip Michiao, so I think I've watched you a number of times, and thank you for the refreshness you bring to the conversation. I think so. Warranty, that was it. Sister Fia, I'm in Chia Micron for any more weapon. Philip Sophia Cross, Philip, you know, cross for anybody. Now, say, you call Master Momo. Now, I'm saying, Crum for Nayana almost see a chakra. You know, anytime I'm a person, John, I think I say no about the Republic of the Ngambaga and the Republic of Say, Joe Crow, crowd saying.
Hey, Sakrao no.
Sakrao.
Oh, Sir John. Oh, Nipa will baby go. Oh, Sakrao no.
Yeah, and more and
I said, don't get you free, Sekwa.
Sekwa.
Robi wo area where for dege. Omo dia wi pa. Omo dia banche. No, omo dia wi no fifi.
Wale Adam Smith and the same.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a chrome Adams. No, Adams
Baumia. So Wale the Baumia.
Oh wow, Baumia na Wale Adam Smith no. I don't know. Baumia ni pano kwa de no. NDC guy ya no. They be or yeah. Counter you cry friends.
I don't go. I don't know. I don't go. All right.
I don't know the about me. I said, you know, Wale Adam Smith.
Yeah. The say, and my pen for a celebrity. The say, you can't say. I'm gonna Obrojo. Me say, what can say?
Brodier Festival.
Brodier Festival. Yeah. Obrojo Festival. I'm say that. Brodier Festivals, and more member between the Samancas and Isuhu. Into a bear crapper, into Crafon, be the job, or market day Tuesdays to Friday. Open Brodier pie, a friend of Brodier, Eastern region, Kohonoma, Ubinyana at very affordable price. Into festival, no moody to commemorate.
I saw man called for festival and pictures still posted. I think that's how we can. To say the old Mensia, any Kumasi boys and pushy, or more money effect. You know, I think that's how we must all elevate other traditional areas. So now you fair.
Yes.
So you can have to mix African Americans, not be so much about Ghana tradition because you're marketing other areas on some home.
Right. In the festival, I'm going to have a warm, I'm going to dinner, I'm going to food and basic idea, will be uncommon. Inti ahemfo no name and my pen for nyina ichia mo koso na mo nya adwuma na mo ye na mo fa mbo akro mo mo ntwan sa aban nkwa na baba ye nyina aban ontimi nyina mo so mo mboa e ka ho bi Sister Fia, I think say in some of the atidwa no emu odue especially constitutional amendment no aya na etodi bi e kasa nsemi na ye nkofo so na we ye bedi enye bibia ye di nkwa na ye de bobrawo BBA values na air system na my asetna timi ye na no so ka abrabo no enye bibia na ye aduane aduane ye bedi so be say integrity wo say yendi na so integrity bibia wo wiase a eboa ema asemba kra na mu ye den na wo de say integrity ne beto dwa etima asumdwe ye den eba e bi say wa wo ka asem no wo bibia ewo mu a npa ogidi ye den ewo mu intini ye ba governance asa na governance nso tie sabi o man pay no nso ano nyi bibi keke MP so mo nso ano mo nyi bibi keke na de nti kra na ye fe obi o man pay ni ayemra ne nhyehyɛ na me ye fe obi o man pay ni ayemra ne nhyehyɛ na me ye fe obi re so MP ayemra ne nhyehyɛ na me ye fe obi so DC nti ye ka governance a sa niema na nhyehyɛ na ye de ahye won na me timi fe obi sa na ye frɛ governance no na eno na eto de bia sɛ ama ye ni ankɔ sa niema no ho a ye be sesa nkrofo so de ye hwɛ ne nsa anye den enka ebisa nhyehyɛ na ye de ato na asa nkrofo no show mo so mundi so mfanye adwuma no eto de bia na achia eto de bia na ho asem no nipa akwa nipa ho adwuma my resource ne expectations na ye den ye pen and na constitutional review committee akwa a big governance issue since 1992 the constitution by no na say etim sacram kakra bi say ye nyina ya tena ho ama ye hu se na akwa fam no me feel say nkomo a da Sister Fia media no ye be sere say niam e was our report him no mo be breaking it down ma Ghana for na den ati asne ama ye nyina nkomo no yetime di nkomo no devoid of any individual person because this is not about NDC, it's not about the MPP, and it's not even about President John Mahama. And some na ye come hanum they will leave any of this political party Ghana and some Inti Sankofo Timothy as Sana and Semi Mutimi Church breaking it down. If you say do one say amendment now, they say Kotwaba, a very clear will be a team, will be a better say the your Kotwaba and yes and your money. And I like it that our committee will take it time. I put here comprehensive recommendations together. A recommendation as of this point, a buying a issue on one white paper. So or Jimmy so on Jim a ban will have to come out. A buying the end, yes, you can buy the end by any who say near money woman, a buy jet to move. Near money will be on Jim to move. But may I very sure say the timing of it, as in the fact that it is coming at a time when a president that is in power is not seeking, to go for, another election, will give some more objective or the same view on Niemani Womuno. And Mifi said there should be consultation with political parties to make sure say Niemani Ebeja Tumuno, Sister Fia, to be accepted across the board. Already, I think civil society will be have contributed to this report. In terms of their inputs are already known about reports here. Now, in Sembu we hear me and as we go into the discussion, I want to pinpoint Niemani because implementation will not have to be done in isolation. Certain things will have to be done concurrently and in parallel to make sure that the synergy woman name for Sony woman. And as we go into the conversation, I'll pinpoint you to some of the things that I think should not stand in isolation. If it has to be accepted, I say I come with other things. Now, etimi recommendation mutintim ne yakofa ebi kekene yesi epewe ne yefan in isolation anhwa amfaso ne yehwe no ye nya will come back and complain. As we go into our pinpoint this
which one standing out now me per se call into the maybe executive summary no de buy the conclusions no just a quick summary of it but emudi an standing out ma say am president enko 5 years and say they na president for suggest say emre bia everything kono and I say parliament the recommendation that MPs and sign your ministers no and I say yes obidibedi obetimi qualified to be president. It will no longer be 40 years because 40 years no be bananya first time now be winning not just only president no na ya akokra ye kroya so say empen kokra especially in this day and age a young generation and ye Ghana voters no do na young people. So recommendation committee ni ye say no omo the age na ba former ye 30 years obi odi 30 years na dwene mu da o emudi an standing out to you.
In order of priority, make I say one, what stand out to me, one, separation of powers, so we MP are minister. That for me is the major priority, one. And no crab bar, it can check a lot of other things. Second, presidential age, matters about 30, like, or more recommend they say, young family 30, that also very stand out to me. Presidential term, 5 years, I think that can be resolved with some other things. You can even ignore it and fix other things and it will solve for our problem. One of it, the dynamic is I don't want us to take them in isolation. One of it will be reducing the president powers. So reducing president powers to appoint many people. Now, to say the Omokasi DC, then you faced election for certain constituents, years now parliament also we are MP won't be a minister. So our 2 years we buy to fix our presidential problem. Now you can have some. So President Mibo here 5 years and now here 7 years. It will fix it. In Tianano, there is a symptom of a lot of power near the or man and it will be say delay or ban appointment chair. It's because one man other 2 maybe and we has all the money. It's definitely delay, baby. So what service are root cause now? You'll be able to, solve the problem of saying, I want to me appointing conformity. I didn't want to me appointing conformity. Because one man 2 maybe a constitution, let me say, or not appointed DCs, or not appointed Nipa Bebre. These are 2 many few. We if you are Nipa not appointed, the back it will be or bound with 6 months and then found appointing conform. So that can solve for that problem. Then say giving more power, say more another additional year. And another year, I don't think, it should be a last thing at the last banner. Let's solve for the root cause of near money and massa near money. And when we solve for it, the other one will automatically be solved for. And the other thing that they say about implementing 5-year term for MPs will not be necessary, right? The 4-year term will still be necessary because if MPs are strictly MPs, that is fine. They can do their 4-year term. If DCs are elected, that should go with that, right? That separation of power, go with that. DCs are elected with half-faced approach, And then national development plan. This all should not come when there's no acceptance of a national development plan that has been accepted. And so when you National Development Plan, Ocam report now, page 43, they said that they are providing that the National Development Plan shall not take effect upon submission to the president. As of now, the National Development Plan says, yeah, the common paying, not immediate no man paying either, I'm not take effect. But Omo say this time around, it should be laid before Parliament and approved by a resolution supported by not less than 2/3 of all the members of Parliament before what? Implementation.
So I know the Parliament can monitor.
Exactly.
You
know, who said amendment before they are asking for parliamentary approval, election of even electoral commission in Kofowi. They are asking, say EC boss Council of State. Now, I recommended a reformed Council of State. And reformed Council of State, and I think we'll have to look at it. Not this current Council of State, existing one. A reform one be or recommended says, I reform one. Or vetting, no public commission. And vetting like advertising apply for. Now brought through a vetting process.
And yet the current system now you to abana adani NDC adani MPP and it's MPP time kana itimensa kwenye bi asem.
Exactly. Now omo years are reform. No omo years are na just say ye vetu ya na back Council of State. Omo almost amfanko Parliament. Now Parliament for onso sanye den. And vetu no omo approve. Parliament approve pe na afa president no na president dey obey as a ceremonial. What you say? Intino social reforms now I'm advocating for now. Sister Fia, I think they are far reaching and we should look at them and try and coordinate them in a way. Say a referendum now, we can put multiple things together. If he says I man call a line now, yeah, G2 a bet Cascadia solve a lot of problems. But we shouldn't pick them in isolation and implement the I will not get the needed, radical reforms now. And there are some other very, very important development plan, even districts, development plan committee, district, non-chile district for how to do special planning about societies, communities. And you see, even say a budget near the core parliament, budget should show it is consistent with national development plan. Now, so who person would deviate here, you must give reasons and circumstances.
Justification, yes.
Yes, for why it is deviating from that plan. And if you say these are controls, you can't want some say yes, just an yama we are a bema among governance or Mampini Biba, a Maran or the Ejuma, near mana I friend a government constitutional man, Sanya man no full. It is yes, just an yamana Mampelina, a bebo ama among na epeno, a teamy iodine, a mu etimagina. Into 5-year term, lady, sister, there should be the last one on the banner. Other important yamane woman. Or when say a new cost.
I've even seen the president being liable for taxes because current system, no president in your tax, but they've recommended that I was here, my president to your tax. No, who said it? And then the age issue, term of office of the president, but they highlighted as a big one. And the total term of the president, I think that was also an attempt to deal with whether 2 consecutive terms and whether a truncated that the president can come again in the case of President Mahama. And then they have other issues of recommending immunities after ceasing to be president. What you are immune to, you are immune from prosecution. So we need a whether or not you can be prosecuted. This is a matter that even US has been an issue. Ketanji Jackson, America Supreme Court, they deviated when this matter about Trump. Yeah, the 34 indictment so went to court and that matter ended up in the Supreme Court. So your committee now dream they've really done a very good job. They've spoken about whether the vice president should be a vice president so-called or a prime minister. They address that issue. Appointment of ministers, deputy ministers, no say
Omar Capeno say it should be 3, but should not be 3 times more than I think the current cabinet minister, which is about 19. Into more or less at 57, and if the president needs to appoint beyond that, he has to go to parliament. And they are giving the oversight, more now responsibility to parliament, and that is only when parliament is strictly parliamentarian without executive interference in parliament. Parliament has to be a separate body, no executive influence. We are parliamentarian. But in this current arrangement, you cannot take Sanima away and implant it in current arrangement for it to work. And also, the timing of it, I wanted to speak to something. Currently, 2/3 majority, it makes it a one-party if it should happen within this term, it makes it a one-party endorsement. And for me, that might be problematic. There might have to be a very, or the same, innovative way to ensure, say, not just to test, but at least they get consensus on the approvals of most of the Nieman, especially with the nature of the parliament. Because to test parliamentary majority, as of now, is only NDC, right? They can get it without. But if parliament needs to be strictly separated, I think that they should rather allow for more consensus and universal approval than strictly going by vote and say, you go to test. No, I think that will help for the consensus burden. And governance, no issues. They also talked about MSM for more pray for who board, we CEO companies, pray for election. They spoke about some cooling period, the 12 months cooling period before you can. They are trying to put controls in place for a lot of how the Amambu seminar has to happen. And I think
I like that because that is showing that they want growth. I was see a Democrat to me. Obi Busa question about Article 71, ex gratia, no, Benjamin, and Benjamin will come back to that. Mamma, Nanato Kunye, quick about Star Constitutional Review Commission. We will answer all your questions because I think ex gratia and I said this has been a major issue since me. I think when I was back in multimedia, we were the loudest. You started this campaign when we saw University of Ghana report on the cost of Article 71 for no to Ghana taxpayers every 4 years. We'll go into that issue. But Nana Mambusa, about this recommendation, your initial thoughts on that?
Mamsama Nanayao, Aquababi, Nanayao, fantastic young man. I like your submission.
Let me read this. There are young people who have written about the two of you. Friends say, I think one of them humble abuchos. In fact, Nanatoku, me MPP need but I like the way I work asano. Seriously, we be our future power in politics. And Dawuda Abam or say Nanaya wabbing pa na your level of intellectual discourse, no knowledge, or the way I will present you case in just what Jumudo Yakupon in shout papa. Those two comments I just wanted you guys to know. Say like we don't see the impact you are making on also a man or me younger than you. You see, there are also people who are more swatching, but they are also learning from you. The
comments are being so do amount. Name one chain. Tell me close to you, no. My being different. But me kunya say me no edim komo me share how I would be no. This fear. I just also work on I would shape some of us our thought and the emphasis say maybe man. On my scale of preference. On my scale of preference, you know. But the kakra me dam makuma no is about the National Development Plan. Only number one on my scale of preference because still be a medical can say is the yeah of mine yeah political parties what you say na ebeye aweho say ebia aban dada bi ebeto bibi so na wo free aban mu na ye de Ghana for sika taxpayers money na ye ahye mu na aban foforo aba na wo ja saa de na ye de ewo ho is the de make mi wa mi obi wo me hana no me come krom asengregwa samra boy a friend no kanu krom don do mani mahama the first time community day school so chiche no me constituency me ya bi
okay
o free abem we say o free abem say na level na almost 85-80% done nanado na MPP bae no omu ja ho
baby ana e wona
Ghana kagure mo am na o ka say ye kan asat now the say dey yakura na asat now NDC ba pa we nim dey say dey and so the my sika and ye media say obusam say on my scale of preference then I mean to National Development Plan yenya no ebia 30 years 50 years be ka say be kwanwa yenya no 30 years na yenhyemu kena menim say ebi wo mu sa ba yenhyemu kena say so we MPP we NDC nyame wadom na say also wo bedi oman no so a saadi we na ye pese oman na dey ekodu because this America is the two kwan ba America yenya ye hu on say o kan say me say a system oba o tumi fa o pen ye de o pe o The creative we would be for open any the open. Ya draw at the end of the hour. Do over to the audience can't the account, but how per be or mine echo. Into una opa say obedi so as man panino. Sebi unto me for open me yet. Until no me to me. When say see ano your call your crew muka to me for you to trouble for the day. But yes, you bet me be a crama you could not get abe crabe. What you say? A bit say you're here to say be abandada. Your papa Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency. Or yeah, they be fantastic. Free SHS. Me say me be a teacher ni. And the Messiah Adena Nanado was one of the best decisions over here. And the at the papa san. By Fufra no. Mama Sebi, at the end they say John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency. I twaso. I was mukina. Then John Dramani Mahama so end the warning about Fufra, but also met twaso because this is via and I ye be crown. And then your young kwala sabi they can read and write. Sabi ene so would be na signpost bi si wo kra akra bi betumi ayede akan ate ase. And the thing say me the national development plan number 1. Number 2 the 5 years term for the presidency. Only the thing say me angabeye me the pass sa omo conclude bibia wi a mama ni endu John Dramani Mahama so to me Gabriel Mede. Nanka, a bind say MPP never bow, say NDC never bow. Now I take effects because you're 2 year Nico a Chileka crab. Here baby are President Kufuor, I can do it. Remember, tell me the tip, I'm a year that 1982 politics. Ope Obia, our fourth republic, Amumboa, President Amumboa Ghana, President Kufuor, and you may be Obia Michan, who do you need free? What yes, on the time no buy there was a gap, or the gap between the rich and the poor. Our Metro Mass Transit, a buy, such a fan of 7 cities. We is like my age limit, now because in Mary's, that crowd from us, and we got to say, we student that won't
yeah, we a peninsula for free.
That is it. And did I just say, Obabuaya, but say, Satam, and I make a Satam, and I say, your ma, President Kufuor, another term. And I said, I'm gonna do baby. What I say, make a say, I said, why one knows by what we are, and the show be an home, then the Shawan, a buyer be do His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the first step. The first step 2012, Sabi, you know, Okujina quarter, Abra, you dear some you now 1 year cry the Ekim, but that's 3 years no be dear, no shed what the year. And there's someone another term, shed you and go by the time the Legon Hospital. The Ridge Hospital, you be whom the circle interchange. This the fear you be a gossip boss or I sign. Until they make an Indian yourself, maybe and Cabe they say. So much did you too. Nancy, you be Pia, man, Benin area, and come money and go and John Dramani Mahama so. Uncle any president, say Kennedy upon the Bebo, say Baumian Bebo, say Atofos and the Bebo will be over Babiano. Nanka Sebi. Nanka Yashimu no so no Yahoo is there, but it's the same way Mamma can say which say when it's here in Shebo. Look as if say right now the Shebia no man can't corner. As a Ghanaians are comfortable with this government. It's true. And then Oma Obia Kasa. But yes, I mean who say Ochinabi, the best West president. 5 years in the BS 50 years.
Yeah, it's true. Unya ni pabonia.
What you say?
Yeah.
That is it. I say again because right now, and I have to say, NDC for your goodwill into Opia Kasamai. But Mama Yang say, you have mistakes. A bit maybe you kunya President Bonia 5 years now. Yakam Sister Fia a bay 50 years. And the other say, you need years and send you or more cotton for another supplement. But
a briefing cranity once as a recommendation where Juma. Parliament will be so independent, say. Nipa kwani bana oya no so ya ban boni. Parliament can check that person.
That is it.
Society can also check. Because they do on the Parliament, will be no wa ban mu, and you cannot buy them. You're so independent that we are buying no bet na ya rough a bit me at now. And even to some extent they can impeach you.
That is it. But I'm saying this is the because say this new Ghana now you're building. Yeah, let's forget about our affiliations, like politically. Many 1,000 years ahead of us. 10 years ahead of us, 5 years ahead of us. Because right now, no, say, me to be American. Yen to say, be a, say, yen to me, I can't say to me yet, Sabro. But yen to say, be a, say, Obi, this is the Fiambo Nasoba presidency. Now, policies are you good? That's all our Asante region. That's NDC for you, say, or more. Yen to Abamon. O policies in necessary, yet to chill, only be not, say, America. Aircon and Nimino. What you saying to Mapuna and a politics and I said, be more, Yenya Casa, Yenya Kunya Sebia, Yenim Wooden Common. Oma Yen say, I drink a cranium when they say, Saya, will to party women, you will to party women, a cremu. But right now, the young minute acquire, you bet to me a create equal opportunity. I'm a Ghanaian youth. Tembia Maka, this is via here and Sabi, no more I would do, but still I'm much over. And then wouldn't say, no, Cassie, Ubit Ghana, a pianica less than $200. Less than $200. What you say? Oh, they because less than $200. And so what you cry? You are turning down renting or you are prepaid. What you say? And the minimum was maybe the one in your hand to mouth. Until right now, saying Yakunya say, you say by your politics. Jangan Ghana Mabuno Kane. On the problem. I mean, say, don't go money Mahama obey. What you say? Until right now, no, maybe they be America. Say, I didn't hear you know. Mama yen yet to say sebi yeah the prezi the supporters but yeah at the boy on mine kana yeah na sebi yeah the boy ja ebo sa papa bi the trauma in Chima. What I say and I think on my list, my third list and so yeah adeba kun so woman here say is it article 78(1) and so yeah say right now no nanka mama MPs no ebia enya ministerial appointment. It's true. But yes I know say now yeah didn't cost no one because and right now no say ma MPs may aswa for now you can for cry say be you say fast system ministers you say you two MPs ka e be sam bitua aswa for neka and the things any no is around the table say the American is if you need me chance na employee for
I don't think will not be a cost because right now no so be a MP no say a minister. Usually, no, minister pay is slightly higher than MPD, until they don't take double. They take the minister's pay, into they give them an option. Obeji minister pay, and now obeji MP pay.
MPP. Okay, that's fine.
Minister pay, until they don't take double, until it doesn't really affect us. Until amukwa, we mu taking ministers, we mu sube taking MP. Just also for the democracy.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, because it's the fear Nana ya the na can nana say yeah you know my Ghana. We have a limited resources. Because Nana ya economics did what you say. What you say. Limited resources. Say you pon ma you hu to say bia o man ade na ye no ye moka. What you say. And me I think say maybe on my scale of preference National Development Plan, number 1. 5 years for the president or the presidency, number 2. And maybe our MPs no see they are all mamatia CSN right now. Maybe I more cardia. And you sana. I say now you say nipa is greedy. And when you be exposed, Obia was so greedy. Oh, parliament you be home. Because right now, no, it's the fear same be America. You to quite call a my for so also by MP a service keke. A service my constituency. And they say you perception. They say Mekobwa, I'm in few west, Mekobwa, baby, and Anaya, if you are all meaning say, as soon as what I say, internet say, this are some like
Anna, sister, cost. What I want us to do is that we should devoid the element of cost because politicians, when you give them a leeway, they will exploit it. It's just human nature. What I say. Cost, none of this thing will get done.
Okay.
And I know finance person. Is this say a separated parliament from executive? It may increase the cost, and that was Toku's issue.
There will definitely be a cost, but that cost, the economics they become marginal cost. The benefit outweigh that additional cost.
Okay.
So there's always going to be an element of cost because strictly minister, MPs, committee in the we should cap it at 276 now. So they don't anticipate there will be further increases in parliamentary seats now or parliament. So it remains 276. We are all strictly parliamentarians. Be there and perform your parliamentary function and oversight. Omon we MPs so Omon limit 57. Additional 57, obviously there will be a cost to them. But in terms of good governance, the additional benefits, now the additional cost. The additional benefits far exceed the additional cost. I'm going to be economics, so I say marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, right? So on that marginal basis, you are better off implementing that policy. So on the amateur. But the intermediate person all the costs are something to say. See, dear Gonia Kofa cost libam, Obia to me Kuran, would you feel summer and just simple.
Yeah.
That's human nature.
That to me, I won't conform to be empty and to be nobody wants to lose it. They don't want to relinquish. In fact, all MPs, no colleagues, Pana, a Muba Kobe minister said, no, they like it.
Yes. And the woman say there's some near my committee in a camp. If you say a recommendation, we might not get everything at a go.
Right.
Okay. There can be baby steps. What I say, and also the Ghana volunteer say when it doesn't mean say automatic acceptance because near money be a timeline. This is how you implement it. So now you have to be strategic about when you are implementing each of them and your wholesale adoption. So what they are ban, but it's there for us a template. We can always go there and look at it and say, okay, they said this. Why are we not implementing Article 71? No, be sister. I haven't fully. I'm scheming and scamming the report. Okay. I don't want to misrepresent committee as almost 11 months after us. On confide Juni Bibri, no Mabeka Semina, 1 minute, 2 minutes, no better it doesn't help anybody. You must respect the Juman or Mayan. And make sure your more canal at page 19, they are saying that the committee recommends an amendment to clause 1 and 2 of Article 71 to provide that the salaries and allowances and the facilities and privileges available to persons holding public office generally. Public service general, public office general, including the president and the holders of the other offices listed under clause 1 and 2, shall be determined by the proposed Independent Public Emolument Commission. Inti follow Ghana kakra. See, I send that say president no mum and now oba or set commission mo ye no mo report abi na president na dey I implement it. But you see an person we this identify president no. No more to come independent body bio and they are half more they be or more and yeah say into they be determined independent of the executive. See answer na I say scratch my back, I scratch your back. I'm the parliament for now or more approve president they not president so they approve parliament. Parliament I always see how executives what will be going on. People will collude. What you say you want to this is internal consistent with recommendation of decoupling parliament from the executive. The one that
I think they also recommended amendment to Article 114 clause 1. Say first a payment of gratuity to members of parliament, which is also captured in 71. No, payment committee no, gratuity no, a monument no more and yet just for public service. For Nakano, it also includes members of parliament. One of the recommendations, I think, point 19, they said the committee recommends an amendment to Article 1141 to provide that in lieu of the current system whereby gratuity is paid to members of parliament at the end of their term, the proposed Independent Public Emolument Commission shall develop and determine as part of their general mandate an appropriate scheme of pension for retiring benefits or superannuation of for members of parliament. Just say, committee now can one seven. Check it. The members of parliament, but 4 years the retirement plan. Says Smith now. Minu workers no. Pension scheme for also MPs. And I think that's also address the issue of Nkofopi Parliament. And I say, a common deal. We know, now if you come in and I know how to or patch us and to board the Bisuno Didi Kakra.
There's another element there I thought said that was also very important about what we say in any democracy behind checks and balances, so there have to be elements for recall. What you say. And then one thing about African democracy. I'm fine. Recall and say at any point in time, your constituency to say UK almost some of the prime minister system. At any point in time, people can vote and say, hey, we want to recall you. And who win there, you go back. If you don't win, you lose your seat on the amateur. We know they are trying to solve for that problem in a different way. I have which page or see the committee effect of censure of a minister. Censure of a minister. And minister. I'm saying all this in context of where we have strict separation of powers.
Yeah, okay.
Because they are not saying it in context of saying the here.
Yeah, system we
say a framework now. This is all assuming say we now have 3 separate arms of government. It overlaps behind it. And they are saying that the committee recommends amendment to Article 82, Clause 5 to provide that the president shall revoke the appointment of a minister against whom Parliament, it was almost under oversight of Parliament, against whom Parliament has passed a vote of censure pursuant to Clause 1 of Article 82. The committee further recommends as a companion amendment that a minister whose appointment is revoked as a result of having been censured by Parliament shall not be eligible for reappointment as minister during the remainder of the president or Parliament's term. The president no media can override this idea. So you as Minister of Food and Agriculture, now Masako appointed any different from Minister of Interior. It won't say or years be president no. Now I'm a minister and so on say. So you mistake now toss our trap no president no continue there.
Yeah. So
in the end, I'm share na here the can say share or what and found so president mama and then found so the next future president obeba ubedi so
your house are tied the teacher constitution where I didn't way build this system not Ghana here no technically that's what the recommendation is doing is giving us a system one a bet me protect your democracy na here one
Nana I think say meeting bia me say you can on paper but say be adwuma say fear can
no ne asem no
what you say on paper they are so succulent so nice but as to say e be adwuma no say be yadu no e say my ni pray na ye body your mind what you say because me tell you that's what I stand for
and into me say media for no mo boy this time because I think say this environment it's a good time when the media can actually be the check for us because the minority cannot be a total check on this new So this is the time you really need a strong independent media or mujine we pa on the amateur no. And saadi we na bano your mind share na ka ho asem wa. So the media must help us evolve this process. Committee ni de omo de nyama na betu anim. Yemwa aban no ne nyina yem disseminate information na ntia asenye den. Emra na ye engage on these elements, you know. And like I said, the good thing is that it is coming at a time when we have an experienced president, somebody who has been through all the mill, right? I mean, somebody who has been a president before in his second term, who is not seeking, a third term. And you know, it's the timing, you know, in that sense, you know, makes it good because he's a little bit, removed from the process. What you
saying?
From the
he's not going to be affected by that. And I think Tokubeka said this is almost like ordained.
Yes.
Because the fact that it's President Mahama that is sitting in Jubilee House and the time na committee where we do this kind of recommendation we have it's almost divine. Because this is a before from a tia konyanso only panel ko seeking re-election bill 2028. This recommendation will be a different ball game. Because it means different to that person. Because that person's interest is automatically threatened.
Yes.
But this is a John Mahama, he's not threatened by this.
Yes.
Because you're not outside Kobe. So what do you want to go back and say this is divine? I say watch that she say.
She said this. Yeah.
There's the President Mahama who's sitting on the throne. On Pefi bill. On to me San Kobe. And the committee look at the kind of recommendation it makes a lot of sense. But one of the things that President Mahama Sube to me in adding to his legacy is to see that at least some part of these recommendations will be implemented in his lifetime.
Fantastic. That is how it is.
We put President Mahama in a different level. As a Nana, don't you agree to put President Mahama in a different level?
It's very important because, like I said, no, I mind the president that call, but I mind some Nkrumah Krabako. Nkrumah Krabako. You know, let's not kid ourselves. The fact that we need to be president, then our mind will live beyond each of these people. What you say? Until let's look at it, think in those terms. If we think in those terms, I think we'll all come with reasonable. Ubi Bisa said, how do I want to see it govern me? Assuming there was, assuming the president that is, I don't like him, he's my worst enemy, or now he's the most wicked president. And she said, and then Anima, how will he protect me?
That is it.
If you look at it in those terms, and you know what you know cheaper. They said they can tomorrow if a bad president come. What happens to Sanima? Control, so that's how you think about it. You don't think about a mindset. They be papa never do so. It will not happen. That is not a realistic assumption.
And it's a good point, yeah.
But there was one thing they talked about arbitration for dual citizens. The
committee report. I'm say and it will be that anybody who is a citizen of another country should not be stopped, denied a election to become a public officer and a member of parliament, just merely for the sake of a citizen of another country, whether through naturalization or by legal effect. But that solves a question.
Read the language, they seem to emphasize on birth.
Ghanaian by birth.
By birth. They seem to emphasize on the technicality.
That is also changing. That is also changing how Ghana constitution. They say their definition of a Ghanaian is a Ghanaian not by birth. It's a Ghanaian who is. We are Ghanaian now. Your current constitution they say you are only a Ghanaian if Umame you're Ghanaian, and now Papa you're Ghanaian.
Papa Ghanaian, okay.
You're Ghanaian, and now Umame Papa Ghanaian. It doesn't talk about Ghanaian by birth.
Until we see how
only US and Canada and some few countries, I think 7 other countries, so they can US and Canada 19. Almost no citizen by birth. Until now, committee recommendation is changing that formula.
Yeah, but almost how the clause we can also say, and all other BBB qualifications they added something.
I know a point here. Mami Sanko, what else you are looking for? Mami lawyer question, Johnny, lawyer question, Mama believe in Akwaba.
Good evening, about me, my brother's name.
Nana, I should share our way now, but in the meantime, can you tell us what the committee said about S. Gracia Nana? Have you read the honor?
Yes, you take it highlight. But I think it's one of the key areas, paramount to war in particular, will show you so. For the past 5 years, and that the Nanka Wama of the but now I say before me leave of absence, now me 1 minute per 1 minute here, maybe JM na maybe born abaso, maybe boy JM abaso me salute pa because ya can will show you so topic bia say teenage pregnancy cry. Yeah, analysis I say any constitutional review. Say economic issues cry, you say any constitutional review. Yeah, kaya na baby I do no. Na 1992 constitution no. Acquire far by problems are Ghana warning is based on the constitution. Tenanka you do so say we needed a Moses who will be bold and help change some of the ills in the constitution. By far by foundation based on which corruption then also educum yewaha. Kaya nanka a very nice opportunity for Nanado. Because the predecessors nanka atames eshasio obe implementia na fofia antuata eno di film. And I'm so film monosono man fan attention and koso. You see, into new regime by now people were blaming JM saying ka ejuma pana and nurse started nanka so also triaso no the gini din keke. Etinanka at a way Nanado by it was a very nice opportunity for him to have just put a team together to review the constitution. Would they just put together the team? Omobakrana cross ba kupen ombe change krana. Abaye wo legacy. So regime no. Umaye changes in Ghana's supreme law. But Nanado didn't want to have anything to do with the constitution. in all his achievement, you know. Edwa baako no yɛ constitution a wama yɛ anyɛ review. And a second one, the family members now umbegu ye in a otherwise, Nanado would have been among the 5 present because social intervention they are not ye baby. But the fact that one my year constitutional review no mami draw the line. And then the family members no so a begu in any massive. Anyway, no so 1 year reshuffling ya did. But I'm fair no tunche. And in ye jina we feed so de bia ya ba ye be de change the constitutional review no nyamia ya dom na JM oba within 1 year some few months he has put together a solid team. Congrats to the review committee also. They've done a very good job, very extensive job also. And within this short period, almost submitted, and we show the body language of the president are very serious. In no time, or share to it implementation. That is good governance. That is all Ghanaians want.
Yeah.
As a leader, if the citizens continue to cry and complain about certain things, not once, not twice, at least leadership should listen to the citizens also. I haven't had the opportunity to go through the full report. I think I'm the full report. A highlight. But I am hoping and anticipating, complaints na you're complaining about, especially the president being given much powers, you could read it through, you be say president powers and also reducing. I think another key thing is why we cry over the period for years, and they said no parliamentarian should be given a ministerial role, and then the almost is so stamped like a part of the report. And now number 1 is if you're number 1 on your agenda, and it was S. Gracia. Nyamia do mama ye hu bibi.
Yeah.
And I think Ghanaians are also happy on that one. But yes, samini na apa decentralization ye to JM. Onjintum na senebeya district assemblies ni ade no will be empowered. Oh, na governance no so centered in only Accra. Outside Accra, there's absolutely no development. DCs, they are just there on paper. But in reality, they don't have any powers at all. And they are also indirectly using the loopholes to make the country. Wow. Because Yesika they tell me consolidated fund. International health insurance, Enyeska Bebri Kurana, Neko consolidated fund. Sika betumi develop expand anyway, say Ghana Education Service, Ghana Forestry, because of SAR consolidated. BBI is focused in Accra.
Yeah.
Yes. And
decentralizing even accounts near the DC for baby or Musika Kogu near the
exactly.
That is it. I think a lawyer, order from above. So I'll call this street MC no order from above. From where? I think that the lawyer can then 100%. What you say? IDBS to be controlled like locally. Now you must be a constituency way and a district way in the second year. What you say? That is a support. I think you are doing a good show. I'm telling you.
We're using a platform for national development. And online.
Producer University of Ghana, head of the economics department, that was Papa. Before you were Papa Kojoba, and you Kojoba. Oh, statistics, me and Madam was
Banu
Papa head of department, but also free honor. There's another professor who became the head of the economics department. On now, the chairman of the last S. Gracia committee with me to me so no And I can't guys are going to
Professor
Babu Watting.
What was it? It's the fear. Yeah, everyone has an award. Why are they?
Oh, it's a fair brepa.
Yeah, sister.
And that's why me ba platform is obi abetro say jandam no one discussion here no fan ho.
And this is a discussion about Boagan and mine pa this assembly this committee the Omaya and I will mention the names of the committee members but now when I can't say you know so I mean committee members.
I think me now I say na minjama me senior members no omontua so why? It is na ba be salute JM. Yeah, but that JM as.
Point to be o say this one there the Abasubodi and come JM. Say
yeah, why are there pa because nanka you find opportunity.
Lawyer Nyabutre, we a recommendation aba.
If you will protest.
Oh,
Even the mere fact say what does say any review no Ghanaians are happy.
We don't now Philip Kawa say about near my choku paper so there pa he was cautioning us. What you say? Let's take a professional approach.
No, yes, you're obeying immediately. Also, you're obeying implementing immediately. Yes. But I'm asking
Tobo, then another person can say, hold on to Abasubodi until it is implemented.
Yes. Lawyer, me say.
Dabi, who started with introduction, you know? Who can say CJM? Why a word?
Hello, Council.
Or said to be. TJM, why a word this time, you know, or calculating the steps, you know. And to share, why a more listening leader. Niagana for panel, many momo. And we hope so, but continue. So, to me, continue, so I know you're more listening to the ordinary people. I think you will leave a very fine legacy.
That's fantastic.
Question, but before the can be so about Nanado said this is an opportunity Nanado failed to take. And now being here, MPP, you know, how do you respond to that? And Nanado had an opportunity to take up this way and let the this committee finish its work during his term and a 1 year.
I would have wished a lawyer would have led this process, right? That's why it's one of the things that
but HM pay a lawyer.
Debbie may come on paying at the level of a president. What you say?
Okay.
At the level of the president, because why Attorney General, Constitution, just what the one so they be out there, no Constitution, they are Bible. And what's that now? I mean, you've been in opposition so for a long time. And what's about BAMU and what's about BAMU. So I mean, that could have been a fine opportunity to spearhead this process.
Exactly.
I don't understand why we left some of these things hanging. When we say governance issues, but they are as important as everything else. What you say? And sister, that's one. Like I said, Abambia will not come and give you what you 100%. And this for me is one of the things that I felt it could have been easily handled within the MPP, especially with Attorney General. But I don't know why for some reason we didn't look at these things. And for me, it's a minus. I won't. I mean, I felt.
I think it's the family Ghana. Nanado Timbia Mikase. Nanado or a fine president, but the people are around Nanado. On any kind of for your problem. And the Timbia say, Yakoya say, Mikasa, Kate GM say GM, maybe to me actual gas in this one. Omo Chana Moshia. What I say, because all these young politicians, open the EU consider okay. Nanado, Nitimupo, they papa. But along the way, no, Omo Chana Moshia to me and kind of crana the answer wrong. I'm telling you this. And you see, your constitution, your constitution, you know. You took more money for you to can so forth. Maybe I ain't this in everybody knows. But me and I make us say, dear, me feel I said, if you are me politics because the last hope no. And the opportunity to say, there's so bit to my boy of my Ghana fan and to my friend. Only because you have nothing to lose. Oh, go election be mu. And he says, so jolly gas says, be a champion a while. But what preview we are my wow over. What I say? And I think these are some of the things that made to me. But Nanado say, no, a fine president. But along the way, then maybe nipa bɔne for be more community or more to me and kind of crying at it. Answer no.
Yeah, Sister Fia, yeah, constitution, you know, I think it's a committee in a report, you know. There will be a lot of radical changes if these things go into effect. Because
you are describing some recommendations as radical change.
Yeah, some are really radical, which is good. It's going to get us thinking, and it's going to get the lawyers talking a lot, which is really important. Because you see, a lawyer for Ghana, we need you to talk a lot.
Oh, lawyer question, now get about citizenship definition, you know. Because the recommendation is changing that banana out to us until I get him.
Yeah, there are other aspects. Omaka, something about multiple citizenship in other places. So I think we have to read it coherently and internally to be consistent to make meaning of what they are trying to say. I think just picking some aspect and reading them might not give full justice to what they are intending to achieve here. And that is where it gets. And then a report now about internet. We are now looking at it. But I'm share page 28, 2.4, qualification to be a member of parliament. Or eligibility of dual citizens. And said the committee recommends an amendment to Article 94, Clause 2A to provide that a citizen of Ghana by birth, I don't know where that definition is coming from, who otherwise meet all other qualifications. I don't know what all other qualifications is. We have to go and look for what they are intending to say there.
The moment somebody citizen of Ghana by birth, and that's a contradiction to the current constitution. So they have to see a new clause. Because the current constitution is definition of President Rawlings case, court, Supreme Court definition or the by and say what the constitution says by birth, what the constitution describes as citizen, there must be somebody, oh mommy, yeah, Ghanaian, and our papa, and a mubako, and our mommy, and our mommy papa, Ghanaian. That makes you a Ghanaian. Other than that, no, you cannot be a Ghanaian unless by naturalization. Say be our worry and I would be a Ghanaian. But that is what it is saying.
I don't know, so who otherwise meet all other qualifications, whether they have something along their origin and in mind. I don't know.
Maybe that is an expansion.
We have to ask them more about that. And that shall not be precluded from contesting for election to parliament merely by virtue of holding the citizenship of another country. I just say that's merely holding the citizenship of another country. There should be more something we have to look at. We have to look at other more specific. It has to be more nuanced than just limited to you hold the citizenship of another country. What they are saying, that's what they are trying to say here. Whether or not the second citizenship was acquired voluntarily or by operation of law, and shall therefore not be required to renounce other one citizenship either before contesting for election to parliament or upon election as a member of the parliament. And, I think they are not any blankets. There are some other qualifying. Maybe around it. The one who probably be a little bit mindful and not, but just say merely say another country should not say because the circumstance maybe I just had might mean something different. What you're saying.
And I think that is progressive because and so Ghana for cry to me acquire citizenship of America, citizenship of UK, Australia, and other people. And Nano conference and President Mahama Koyeye, any previous ones I Kufu Adwaye, any previous ones are President Kufu by Onokan decided by home President Kufu, they know my friend AB. Omodi Abroche for Befieno, they was tagged, they had a name. Abroche for have been a key part of Ghana's development. And to merely removing people and not preventing people from becoming members of parliament just because of acquiring citizenship of another country. And I think that's unfair. Because my daughter, Hackman, we have a chunk of knowledgeable people. Including your godfather, your side phone chroma. So, school abroach no buy one job citizenship there. But I like what the committee is saying. Say just merely because of book to another country citizenship should not stop us from tapping into Nipani knowledge. Nimdia or the Beboa or Mino in parliament. I like what the committee is saying.
Yeah, committee for which me abomudi na Ghana for who inform akotana te adwuma na yetimi abomabaso for
this. Yeah, mabaso. Na a quick one on the MPP primaries. Yeah, for so join no show mo thought. Committee is chaired by Professor Henry Kwesi Prempeh, Professor H. Prempeh. He's the chairman and executive director of the committee. Osai executive director was CD, the Center for Democratic Development. Why Juma way for a long time in this space, civil society advocacy for good governance. And Dr. Reina Ekumpagiriya, what is secretary, any founding partner of Partners and Associates, also a senior lawyer, and her ladyship Justice so far Adinyina, retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and also committee no. Professor Kwame Kakari, me I'm a professor, School of Communication Studies, and also senior actually very solid guy, Professor a professor and former director of the School of Communication Studies, University of Ghana, former member of the Media Commission, and Miss Charlotte Kesson-Smith Osei, Charlotte Osei, any full name, no, Miss Charlotte Kesson-Smith Osei, founder and managing consultant, Cyrus Law, former chairperson of the National Commission for Civic Education, and former chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Ghana, Dr. Esi Ansan, executive director, Center for Leadership, Elne Ashesi University, and Alhaji Ibrahim Tanko Amadu, executive director, Star Ghana Foundation, and Dr. Godwin Jokutu Esquire, senior lecturer, University of Ghana Law School. So my idea, even seeing Charlotte Osei there, no, it's a very good thing for me. And mom said, my bed 4, 3, and a woman. I'm happy about this.
I think that there's some element of proportional election. You want some more and giving room to man. With time, though, I think we'll dig more into what they are trying to convey to all of us. But I think that generally, because I know there was a body of work that was done and some of more, but they went back, took all of that, and then they reached out. They didn't do it political. They engaged across the board. The good thing is they were able to meet. I mean, say I'm paying for what here, your mama, even the president himself, and or the same former president. They met key people. People that have played a very key part in democracy. Inti yabebo mabasa akachom say generation the next generation so when your blueprint be say for us now omodi be side after drama. And I think for young and upcoming politicians in some for actually they don't intend to benefit from a lot of distance. They are doing it for the progress of our country. Inti, let's read this thoroughly and seek guidance from them and understand what they are meaning to say. Because they have the benefit of institutional memory, they have the benefit of having looked at a whole lot of things. Now, you engage you more. Now, I think the young and upcoming politician, Corona, now you take you when you run with it. It might not be and then, but if we can implement some of this even over a period, over a 10-year period, I think we'll be making progress. We don't intend to everything be done right now and then. No, let's phase it out and implement them accordingly. In this, if you are making our program issue Abomabaso and Meda Omampeniso, I saw making reporting available, right? This is out there for everybody, right? It's already in the public space, so we can all read and make comments. And how I say more issue in there, I deal with that. Now, it's America, can I read it through it? That is how we all want to contribute to the growth and development of our country. And let's hope that the implementation committee, let's see what the government white paper says or whatever government adoption of whatever they are saying says, and then we'll take it from them. If it's honor, the crux of the issue is what government really accepts and doesn't accept. I'm really interested in looking.
I know they are buying budget too many. They are buying it. We are waiting for the government white paper on that. Banana to go any about somebody I would be and penny for no.
Oh, about somebody the president Nabaso. Don't do many Mahamo. Only thing they are no Nabaso. Now, I put you on the Magana for me. Say you so getting to because at the attempt the emphasize, but want to be Biasia, sit and I are kind. We so be no was here. And as right now, no sources to be because he has a chair of mine, young political party. And the same you say, they say the MPP can be from the NDC can be from the no MPP or not on Tiasia. Now, Timbia, on the Timbia, because it's the Fiat. Ubia per se, Ubia per Quasianantia, but Ubia per Soba Quasiaba. On any problem, no. Ubia per se Ghana, a quantity. You took Quaya, not Ghana catch it, but saying you be so better kitchen say Obama minor year. Now you cry say I usually come once empty. Kaka meet me a Casame Pompey for Nabaso, the Bob Mampenina Basono. The Mamfona also no, yes, you, Yanso, Yumi, Yakim Kakas, and no be a Betiasi. What you said, this is the Via Pacho, Mamma, I think to from the constituency. I just say Nana ya can say be now o kan afa share amamre no ma bi.
Yes.
Me jina afike kese we so. Nim say wasaman ehwe me titiro am asankagwa. This is for almost 10 years, more than 10 years. Yene yehine Nana nyane bodum na me fa ne kansie. Owu ye ni nya hene na. I'm telling you, we are passionate appeal. I don't belong to the party A or party B. Obi him dem farmer. But Sabi, the kuna or the kuna units essence say Sabi Kenya penny be money so. And to the mestre the Western Regional House of Chief. Nebiato don't dramani mahama. Say your panach. Chow. Your crew no catch in an say Sabi. Your MCE. Your MPD, but I am before never come one boom no the watch and to wait before for the case away so they said they were compared their two Western Regional House of Chief. Can be a room. Could do even the president. I'm a few Western than Akumaso. This is the from 92. There are two about the NDC for Sao, a NDC traditional seat. And the can be over
at least a board development.
That is it. I don't belong to the party A, family A or family B. Yeah, they understand you paying the kind of say, Ubi Bawalo, maybe a your papa. What you say. But yeah, per se, you chrono ever coning. You couldn't be fun into my pirate a free. What you say. Because right now, it look as if say, Ubiana Kunya or Yedi open. I'm telling you this. A yes, a family current with the Mediterranean because me answering paying for, say, you will fee. But at the said day, I'm the tomb paying for him. Maybe I talk my penny with us.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, quick one on the MPP for but a bit more the messages about Daniel Mancosi 4 years, the only committee in the year say it's not enough. Until some recommended 10 year 5 or no for so. And I think I'm in New York and I see JM is incompetent and he's still incompetent, even looking at what is happening in the judiciary no crown. It's a disgrace into another who say only JM like right. I don't know if that's you are responding to committee or anything that we are saying here. Patrick say AGD or Danny Minister of Reading and Explanation or Beko Court no or Danny Attorney General they be reading kwam a friend saying okay, Esgracia, I answer a question. I'm on now about Esgracia. I think we have answered what the committee is saying about Esgracia no. Abrante way or say I like this man already. He's speaking very sense. So he's speaking sense. Nanaya sorry na obona abasono. Jeda's also open Nanaya also asempa and we to say 4 years or 5 years is the same. Just as 6 years, any 7 years, it will still be okay. Into no so na dwinchira or de ebaye enono. Afa say in fact Nanatoku waka say ya manato makoma so pa humble abutre. Ena odi we say de ebae no obi busa say dege fia onim dege na o minim dege minim area ho elections one man hunu elections tokro bia ma ko keje bia ko wurema ko Togo elections wo aduma ma ye elections wo aduma sa tokro bia na me ko yes ko ha to de bia me ko ho da o me ka sa pa de nchira he fa ba election na me ka ba no me ko ho da boss si onya hwe wo be hu kwan na paso me hu kwan me do lorry station no mabusa me ko ka ba elections ba pepe. You know, David, they say nothing is working against Dr. Baumia. Dr. Baumia, but we need 75%. Okay, on that score, Niembra MPP for primaries. No, so far, Moon is saying, do I go to Nanaya and Sana Maba a year now?
Nanaya, no, MPP. Mamma man, primary kakra.
Canada Japan campaign is on fire. Using Atoshi. Baumia camp is on fire using a friend saying attraction Adwasafo that last minute that boy what do you say now?
What do you say? Say Sabi Eka NDC phone boa. NDC phone kwa ngasabio MPP like that is the core. NDC be a hard fun, but right now, baby, I say on my economy, say you have responsible opposition. What you say because Ghana any one party state, and you see the canon. But look as if say baby MPP for and then I'm not say fear or here to kakra. To me now pay. You must also open to me. We here to me then out the bay. So we here to me it's about development and it's sanity. It's the fear about here 20 years say you free as Accra. Who say Nana also bet my fa Kaswa Ako Kumasi. Sister, if you also bet my fa Kintampo Ako Kumasi. And yes, sanity. And it's about your strategies. Like that, I'll bet me. Say Nyame adum na unya akonya say obesum Ghana. Then I bet me my Ghana. My Ghana fan into my peripheral. Nti where from this personal attack? And the attempt where from and almost say if you introduce Adibia with politics ma. I say you can't create it to me. Me tell me say me to aba. Na if you say oba mo say me to aba ma wa. Me put say then I bet me e de aboa o my Ghana. And I say bia so open bia. Me mention then I bet me aboa. No idea sebla. But moment would you be one sembeba? Sebi, so to me, na die, so to me, you die. Send him panning yes, I mean, no, okra, I can bonny. Because it's about development. Oh, say Yame Wadumina, Akunya say, Masum MPP, number D or my Ghana soa. Say Namama Ghana, Afaso, and Yan Edimpa, and maybe I can find into my friend. So, where from all this dirty politics, I said, you, yes, suma, tax, more we do we atem. You do we have to say you free politics. What I say, but I made a temple. I can say, minimum as answering MP before Kotoaba. Omoano, almost answer. Omo who you do. And right now, no Kakra me to mark catch number 2 about January near say. Now they should vote based on policies. Right? This is what Menga Joe will be our pastor. Me am to more past. This is our past. And this year will be passed about. Never nana you say ya. Na sebi yemwa. Because right now, no, say so ebe Paula. And there, they say we can be a Paul can be a unity. Because who probably would deep when you come Christopher and Paul can be. What you say, but I didn't say Sebi or say Paula 1 month or the Senate for or say because I'm not with Brewas if you say a little bit myself much here and can maybe open come to me and I'm yet. Because if you are President Dr. Baumia will be along the way on also on a normal year, which is soon to me yet. Papa Kennedy upon also along the way on to be say some years ago the way Sangamaker ABR Dr. Dutum until right now no almost to sound of now you focus the way forward. Now you want to say can't take that for the year say 777. So we it's about policies. It's about then I'll be to my yabua. Because they do baby look as you say candidates in a bimbo a campaign at the Mabino. Obe what they say nimpa now we campaign because I mean the MPP near ngama say okay papa we dey to abama na yere ko onfa na oban and then make ko to abama what you say because the one what say oh attack no because right now so we selfish we are self interested and as a bia oh campaign but they make any na say I'm not here to campaign for anybody me dey NDC ni the John Mahama na NDC for year metumi abohu dey we acha na for na me but you say you responsible opposition you know MPP for but for about on January the ebe nyina no new year no they should sit down seven baby omo party no because the via also can say NDC for actual but when they say University of Cape Coast they share them because of telling post Obama and so NDC but I'm telling you obi o tell me be enemy because me hear NDC ache me to Obama MPP da but along the way no na you sorry because it means crash nipa na we NDC but then they free soro ebet say bayira hu mama bayira makase and then na NDC ayakono and then na mabum ni nyina adwane kwa NDC and there things me sre you MPP for ne say because nana ya we brutal I think along the way me na bekasa because we hear people like him don't say
NDC
oh that they say politics are about numbers because you go for more adwuma say you dey say na say you pay fine brains so who say the way the paper be twaba because what you need adwuma because you be chichire o man what you say
me referee
and the American in na say na ya yo ebinom to say na ya wum and say na abansesa na say you mo akonya papa mo bohwe obi a say bi o ya aboa kwase ase bi o yenhwe o mo a adwene wo mutirim on betuma abo man kana this kwase ayeyi no MPP no NDC if you look at baby adenene nam Sa na ese ye o man Ghana. Nti going forward in the me say about abano de ye de kura ba ko ne be din ku.
But mo NDC mo ni preference be between Ken ne Bawumia mo NDC mo ni
Yeah, body yes nka me be say me na preference anga me ya nka omudu abama Dr. Bawumia because only the e kwan down. Ono.
On the way to me
Was it
oh, but I said Bawumia dey mo to me be no.
Only the and the everyone say almost NDC for tale Canada point. No, you probably a person you put here a bit me upon 2028, 2032. A Dr. Bawumia because you bet me and once 500 cents, you bet me Biaka. What I say, I think I mean on a but say you protest Ghana democracy. Now, you might who said, the papa Momodi so. Sebi along the way no and you be on the right so we know you know be na and care you be to me at it
All right.
I'll go for MPP now oh my God
what is happening with
from a Ghana perspective, you know, I mean, from maybe I'm regional, it's better the MPP was better off going into the last election with Bawumia and losing than going with an account candidate and losing.
Okay.
From a very strategic perspective, the MPP was better off that way. And one thing that would have hit the MPP hard was if Bawumia had gone like Alan Chamanto went, that would have been very bad for our party too. It is a party yet any history. The BIA final is the best part or scenario that could have happened with the future of the MPP going forward. Say, yeah, the Bawumia and the last election me lose, I would prefer that than if we are taking any account candidate and lost.
Because it
will be worse. And you know, I told you you have to look at Nyema Bebre. And at the same time, you have a contest, last election, the time you choose flag brand. And the family said, Bawumia Mona or go or call out to say that Alan Chamante call out now. That would have also been very bad for us. Intina, election, I'm a bomb pie say it will not come to a point that Bawumia will say I'm not contesting. One more reasons behind say I'm not contesting. Can you imagine the speculation and the fact that we are coming from a certain, history and it would have been worse for us. So Bawumia's election, it wasn't an election that if you even had put an account candidate, it was that easy for us to win. We all knew there were challenges, right? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Politics is also scientific. People have lost money. It's not easy to win an election like that. Let's nobody kid themselves. And, that election, even if we are putting Alan Chamantin there as a flag bearer, and if your chances that we're going to lose that election was 70%. So losing that election is not because chances that would have lost would be 70%. Maybe the magnitude that people will argue about the magnitude. What I say, and then at that point, I mean, you can speculate and what I say. Losing that election, it's not about an individual. It's about the whole party, MPP. What I say, I see a tenacity, yet a values. I say, yet MPP no cry, then you be MPP now. Oh, Philip Castle those times NDC for why? Because there's a history. Country way or history. You in NDC military rule. Maybe so and at the time, the way NDC for your Moniama. They are evolving, trying to come to the territory and people. So they are mature. Party, NAC making sure system the machinery, it's working. It's not about an individual person. The party the machine in the area Juma. Opa, Kofa, Kennedy, or West candidate. The party can rebrand whoever candidate in whatever form and shape. But the party in the answer now quite an individual. Ochina said you yet 2 years if your name gives you. I can't guarantee my life in the next 2-3 years. I mean, quite grab it. On a strategic risk perspective, if that candidate is not there, what happens?
Prime Minister the system, no party, no structures thing, yeah. Then why are they rushing to elect a flag bearer? Because that's what is going on. No?
That is why some people have argued, they should wait to board the party. But we say BBR also via mathematics. school no more math no it make us be a substitution effect, substitution method. Also of a system of equation and see be a simultaneous equation and about substitution method be a base in and out, but it is getting you to a particular result. What you say? And you know, we all have an idea that how the party must look like going to an election. But the way you solve that problem, no, and yet automaticity and I say and yet mechanical. It depends on the context, the cycle, the political cycle now where then will sometimes dictate to strategy. No? So and yet they be one strategy. They be as first year be relevant in a particular cycle because that cycle, the dynamics might be different. So you have to align. Into something painful to take a decision. They look at animal when you know cycle and you baby and near fiabano. Sister Fia, this approach probably seems to mitigate a lot of the issues. If we go and implement that old method in this cycle, we'll probably get more worse outcomes.
It is a Tim Ken, and if they are the leading a unit, or more Brian Champone, Dr. Duchum Nase, or more they are buying time for maybe future 2032 near this. They say one the major candidates, no, Tim Ken and Tim Baumia. Even if you look at their strategy, last minute strategy, way too money, what do you think? Is that okay for you?
Oh, for me, there's a certain level of accountability when you're internal election. If people have held a certain position and you want them to account, now be some legitimate questions, I think that should be allowed. What you are saying. Okay. As far as it is fact-based, as far as you are and yet personal, what you are saying, and you want them to account for stewardship, why not? That is a campaign point with a bar. I will not, as much as it can be hitting and hard, no, I will not disagree with you. I'll let you raise it. But misleading, then you're factual, then personal, then I think you lose focus. What you are saying. In many there, I don't despise any of the candidates, but what I can tell the other candidates is the MPP will go and elect a leader of this party. And electing that leader, no, it will not be about I am in the past, no, we're told so because now about Miawa Benmuntino, he cajoled all government officials. So I test, no, it is going to come. So I let you we'll test that to see say ampa. Our Benmuntino cajoling for and I said he won on merit. The other thing is, delegates, they were all boxed. We were also going to test that hypothesis in this election. What you are saying. So there's a lot of things we are going to test. But what I want people to do is say, no, leaders, they are stupid because they didn't accept you in the NHS. They might agree with your money, but maybe strategically, or more times they might go a different direction. That doesn't mean so more time. Like I said, in Japan, and I'm in time, and I'm in time by a champion. I mean, it is not about it is about the fact that time in this strategic baby one bolden the party future or candidate will we have a party strategically
okay, you think Baumia is a better option?
I think Baumia is a better option strategically for the forward march of the party and for keeping the party and for keeping the party. And I very much believe in the capabilities of Baumia, not because, like I said, I mean, he doesn't have his own flaws. He might have his own flaws, but maybe other candidates in to time now you cycle we can only go forward with him. But I respect all the other candidates. If like I'm always for a Baumia person in this case, but like I would say, let nobody feel say we'll be threatening. Go and vote and let us see what delegates now they. Let's understand. So can happen a Koto but men happen a Koto but Emma Obi tribal and also emotional sentiment, and that's one thing I've disliked about our committee, Mark Council proxy voting, because I feel that Sister Fia has to comment on this proxy voting issue. You do not put in place policies based on emotions. What you say, you have to be principled because so for casting into proxy voter, you are sending a weak signal that the party is weak. It's weak. You don't allow,
and they cannot police the legitimacy
of the vote. That is a bad signal for a party like the MPP. It's not about individuals, it's not about personal. What you are saying. And when you do that, for me, it's a signal now we're sending out there. One my party now looking very weak in the eyes of the public because if it is principle that people have to vote proxy voting, the party must have mechanisms that protects that right to vote. And must make sure some mechanisms, all the parties are comfortable with it. That is how you solve a problem. You don't solve a problem by running away from it. And a party like the MPP, I think so in this particular instance, we are running away from a very key principle that undermines democracy. And I think so, for me, that wasn't the best. But sister, if you are, like I said, before we take decision, but sometimes you have to speak up and let them know. So this is how you think. But also for this opportunity.
I think proxy vote Jerry Crass Mama because he has been a very key you of proxy votes. Over Jerry Mamintio on this Namema, Mr. Ado so a train or a background of over Jerry.
If you are Michelle, and I have to say, Boko. Proxy vote, I disagree with Nanaya in a way. It was a good structure up until last elections, and there was a problem. The election committee, I mean, they know better than us. Almost personal investigation and research, and who say last primaries, with proxy, there was a lot of scheme went to it. Now, they don't want to bring it out, but they know say it was wrong, and they're not going to repeat the same mistake. And this time, what they decided say, who are outside Ghana or you are in Ghana, basically what it means is say, the only time I'll vote to proxy is when you are sick. And now say you are under a government national baby project.
But all their own supportive proxy,
I never begin first of all now before we all supported until last primaries. Okay. It's from what came out with last primaries, I've been supported to be, and I like that.
But Jerry, why should the focus not be on addressing our concerns so that we can protect the right of people to vote?
Yeah, Nanaya, I'm trying to build a point here because you made a good statement. Say the focus should be on saying, you are undermining a great party like MPP. There are a lot of focus, and everyone they should have focused on it and build it. One, from day one, early Congress. Decide to do that early election. That was a big mistake. It started from there. If we want to build a party, and I say, this structure in the first place, early votes, January, should be cancelled. See, and council, and we give that authority and the power to this new leadership, to do whatever they want. These are some of the things we are all going to face. Okay. And the same people, and they build this election committee. And we all, whether you like it or not, we have to accept it. Just like you just said. Sometimes they make decisions, it may not favor you, but definitely you have to take it. Okay. And you make a statement, you say, your last primaries, it's good to say a Baumia, the account candidate being a core, and no lose, and it will be a disaster. And I said, which to some extent I disagree, because bringing Baumia itself up front to lead that party at that particular moment, and not MPP, and in terms of you know what took place. Now you bring in somebody to lead such party, say move on, you want to break the 8. And then you bring in somebody from the same office at the time. Whether he was a mate, he was a driver, or he was a office clerk, he's coming from that administration. Okay? He was number 2 in office. You cannot exclude him from a Kufuor administration. And that's one thing we should know. Okay. No matter what you do, Baumia cannot distance himself from a Kufuor. Whether good or bad.
I think his issue was not about say Baumia between distancing him. I think
no. I make comment say can Baumia ma. And can the candidate by no Kolusu and can go say. And I'm trying to tell him say bringing Baumia also was a wrong choice because I for one, even if we could have the whole machinery, send you the time Baumia China, you use some machinery retire and and Kala will beat Mama hands down.
Jerry, let's stay on that. Let's stay on that.
Can I land so you can come in, please?
Okay, Landy.
Yeah. If we could have used that same machinery to support Alan Tramante, then time now. Alan could have beat Mama easy because remember, now Mama has a track record that just Ghanaians don't want him. But the reason why Mama became hero and won the seat, the presidency seat back there, all because we brought the wrong candidate, we presented wrong candidate to Ghanaians, and then they feel like say, hey, now Crawford dia wa grana, near Kufuadu aye mo ko kwa, masa kofa na badi echirezi and tomano. No.
Okay.
And so
it
made Mama hero. That's why Mama won the seat. If we could have brought Alan, even then time, win election.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's one thing. When you're going to an election, the analysis now. That would have been one of the weaknesses if we're doing a SWOT analysis on candidate now presenting in 2024. Now that would have been one of the weaknesses and vulnerabilities with the candidate. What I say, election be who the candidate be or on the strength or on the weakness or on the saying down. So and that aspect now it's valid. We are analysis now. That is a very objective, valid analysis because he was coming from a government that no count. In the same way, let's subject that same analogy to Alan Tramante. Alan Tramante too was in the government, just that he was there as a minister. What I say. In a way that Adianoso would have also fight against him, maybe not to the extent now. Because Bawumia was always in the face out there. But that same concern would have also worked against or the same Alan Tramante. But maybe you could have mitigated it because he's not the second person in charge. What I say. So you could have a mitigating narrative to say, so he's not the second person in charge, is that. But outside the election was a difficult election. And especially coming on the back, say you have a former president, anywhere where you have a former president contest an election, it is not a small joke.
Because he's already coming with a base. He's coming with a base. Okay, very well.
Discounted the fact, say, if Bawumia was out and any other candidate was involved, will win this particular election. I had my doubt that if any other candidate was there, will win the election.
Okay, very well.
If he said Bawumia coming who gives us to test, am I testing a party at its weakest point? Sister, if you say I'm not control, but I can confidently tell you, say MPP will not get anything less than 41%. It will depend on any candidate that you bring. I can confidently say that based on data and what you are saying. If you say yes, there are some weaknesses with the candidate. We have to admit that we cannot play hypocrisy. And so, Bawumia campaigning now for some reason he never even went to the economy too much, and that is a valid criticism from Kennedy Japan that we have to accept. We cannot place as more Bawumia campaign to be other candidates. We are not taking, and now we are not marking it down and taking notes. And some more can we have to really address them. That is a valid point. We have to address. Why did we do that? Maybe there was something we're trying to mitigate. I don't know.
And on hindsight, Nana, because it's hard and it didn't work for you or not. Some moment about me talking about economy and he was talking about digitization. Did they help or not?
I think we should have balanced it because I say lawyer be Bahanum, panelists be very or Bahanum be catcher say why are we not even explaining to Ghanaian how we ended up going to EPIC when we said we'll not go to EPIC. And so for Akufo-Addo, prior to that, I also made comment about why is somebody not explaining to us why we got here. So explanation, in my candid opinion, I don't think it came out clearly to the Ghanaian people. Because me, I could explain tragedical, historical, how come Ghana has come to this level. Because MPP for the year. It's because we both have
now what a campaign team no pushing Bawumia to give that explanation to people.
Even if that means they'll go and vote, even if that means they'll go and vote against you, tell them, let them know, explain to them. It doesn't matter how right you are in an election like this, because explanation at the man ends the situation. And of course, we cannot run away from the fact that but at least give them the information, explain to them, let them understand. But maybe in an election season, but find a way. You could have still taken that opportunity to explain before you even leave government. So what I say, if they want to listen, fine. If they don't want to listen, the records will be there to bear you out. If you say, and then your man or opponent, you dismiss. sometimes you really
Sometimes
have
you
to
learn from it.
Yes,
and Jerry Nana also coming from Baumia camp. He knows what he's doing. He's been bold enough to admit, no, campaign team.
No, how many times I keep telling you that Nana is a guy I would like to find it, be a argument. Seminary platform. That's why I like it, because he'll say like it is, and he doesn't do this bias. You go for me about me. It's not wrong. Correct. When it's correct, it's wrong. Let's speak like Ghanaians. Sometimes you act like just like one NDC guy that I was listening to you just a while ago with you, and he just said it. He said, "Listen, me and this then time can be very crossing me pajamas." I said, "Me and this," and that is a strong statement from NDC guy.
Yeah.
To say, and yeah, easy. And so now they feel some party no one be why a young MPP for the mom that leverage. If near my young but like I said, going forward, said the MPP party, as I'm saying, the by MPP party, the only person who can revive that party is Kennedy Ohina Japan. And they're a fact. You cannot change that. And yes, this is the only person left.
That's it. Mr. Adam Bacho, good evening.
Good evening, Lefua. Midasi say, Wamama Kwenya Dio, Afrishapa, Emma, Mana Wombeka Sayo, medium ye old school, Medi Edio Song Liet. Now, I think be percent mechanic say, when young a baby man na yetimuno. Say, you know, young a bedifua was what per se would be and a new linano. Ubia si mede, meno be a brofarankum. Because the entire wo a fua coat sian a treacheria time now in Crofui a canwo a fear honor. And now whom say, in Penufuna wo honor, wouldn't to me entity you until now quiet now could see a woman betty me the sadi pano ako a bankesimu aquaco bone quedu. Now, near to swear being one who attorney general. Yeah, attorney general, yeah. Adiachi, Aderesa, Anopa, Ewia, Ubijina bedroom, na oka, maye say, being say, we are say, we ye say, what's the plea bargaining? And no anability, you know. The plea bargaining, no, ultimi e modipana. Wonga ye bonne, wonga basi, wobabe pacho, ultimi mo wounding. Went me and tray sika, wet me a j, Ediama, a mufra, and in nana no one, what were you nechi? Made me a pensioner. Ghana no yakwaba. Young I yawo diaspora na, yawo krum hano, ye the younger Juma ko Ghana. Now one of my younger Juma nebu. When you said this week, a Ken, Oba krum ha. No woman thinking. Kennedy Japan.
Okay.
Oba be a meeting, a Milton Keynes. Well, the deputy dano edu sa elections ya. One you know what backroom ha, and will be a meeting waha, and will be Sika, and what they call a young room. And so no. Ye no ye di vote to be our chrome how. Fiti de da ye di aqua court, International Court of a Union say, what my quenya be to Aba. Yentimin to Aba.
Even more British citizens, to Aba.
No, yeah, British phone the yetimi to Aba, but yeah,
British residents, no moon to Aba.
Ghana follow the intimate to about to do with any elections in Ghana.
Okay, yeah. Ropa no,
Ropa no, say Ropa no, ye dia koko tam ye edin konim. Se say anka yetimi to aba. Se wo pese wo pe American, America, UK, Germany, France. Eno na nipa bebre a wo ye Africans, the Holland, wo ye Ghana fo a wo ho. Se say anka wetimi to aba. Ma Ropa. No, wo katre say oh na nipa ni bi wo Vietnam. Da ben na nipa ni bi ko pie Vietnam ntia muntimi nka se yen a yen ye wo wo friend diaspora na ye di yen sika eko Ghana no kura chen Ghana fo wo friend sika wunya.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
Enti Attorney General no wakasa dodo. Okasa pre-bargaining no wentimi abobi adin enra.
It don't pass all my details of Sanya man and Sana Wababe Casano reduce the Casano court.
Onfa kasa no court.
Okay.
Na say yang asu nyina resisi. Ne to so abien sa yen maya won afi yen kroma won aba abutiri asase su abenya dibia ti say binu aketua ya obekasa ewo so yi then wo friend then akwanya no wo because say no Ghana no to become a politician no se wunni obroni sika beye $50,000 adan say £50,000.
Yeah. I don't know if me send the committee no they answered all these questions on my I'll send you the reports. I'll send them your number. I'll send you the reports of the Constitutional Review Committee in Edumo. Yeah, they've answered. They've tried to deal with a political party funding. So when the party is in power, funding there. I don't know. So, but so there's a place called IATRO Private Chat. If you send me your number, I'll forward it to you. Because next week we can't fast that topic with you.
You if we are say one what yes our committee me born abaso me no me akwakra we I follow everything that goes on.
Okay.
Me akwakra abrante bitimi tumrika bitimi ko swimming bitimi bribia esese me bia me wo sa
yeah then I go pass it now so my
yes me wo sa swi metimi aye. Na say no imrante kwa na mu Ghana no wankasa efua uka ho bi mu ne sese mu kofa kuro no ejina enkwokrafo ni pi te say ye na won adwene pi no se bi utafrache won adwene no edi tinhia won kenkan woni mu hwe odidia na instead of sorry no akwa ko fensu wo fridge mu no afre ekosua wo he not ho
you mesado
yeah and to sue biesa one Instagram
na ngofo wo achi time no so aboko na wie
uka Instagram one say Ghana no yan yekoje loans and na ye de sisi adan egunwrem na yintimi revival na dipa odasani eda Tema station na soldier fo ene police fo nyam baby na intino ye sisa ye adwene na ye ma ye nananom ne ye mana won mede memre awie but won a wo ye nchi no mo na mo hihia me intino ma me ko
that's Yakupon and Shirapa. So no one who will be a kayen. Zaka, good evening.
Hi, Mr. Via, Abishapao.
Oh, yeah, then Yakupon say, oh, my people from Metro, I want didn't come.
Yamistraso, Obia by Biano, Obia Casa, Obia Casa nice. Right, the Fia? Yeah, now you can't say a woman swing. A woman swing good, a good is be a doctor, be a ye. but obi wa wonye doctor or more degree bia but o can say what him say twice mu because ofifie eti ni fie sort ya there if you ntete na so ofa de ka wadusua ho a na ma onim wo ma wo school nkuma ntim ma wo hwe eso yusu fie nyansa wo di buom pani na adi bo kra no ye na mama nkotu eso no ma no mo ye no na chen ye na yesi akọ school ye na no mo kro no e no mama okọ school so mo na e bo kro no e die ntira ebu aye mu nti e na amasa ade ni na aba na meka ko se constitution na mo so be change ni sefia ye di akira ka ho asem asu ho a na ye me de o ka se me ru afi se ya na ye ko ho ntokwa na ye tie for long time o ye nim ni nyina de ko nyina e no ma yaka for education enye nne ne ye ka ho asem so bia be ye adwuma wo okọ ofiri wa obese repeat bio ni atwa ne kasa chairman saboto de do say hwempanifo mo kina mu double salary is ska mo giye sister eno ma bubu wa me nka no kura nkyere won ye dada ye ho oman no eno kura 1992 ebi samri sebe ka kura na atwa kura o mbetena so afi bia o mo change ka ka o mo toka akopro enti mra na ya hye no ne se mra no aduru ba bi na sese sesem a ade na kire ye so se ye ntimi sesem empanifo mo kina aye nyankopon nkyira o mo omtom kwanem no mo nka no kura ta oman no enyi ni papa ko do be oman ni ye NDC MPP ye nyina ye bo oman so oman be ye President Mahama Baye come from Dwa Esiwo say President Kofoko ye Mahama Baye mbedi 8 years Akufo Addo ba bedi 8 years Mahama Baye okokro from Dwa mo ekwakoye e ye omadwuma ne bi no ye enso ye to aba ma MPP Ashanti reading omodi ye mo enoma bebre omo mpese ombeka no kore na enso so no se yesi anka no kora nche wan ye ye ho so bo no ye ka yesi na baomia na hwan so bon de babo ni nyina ya Akufo Addo won de o ma ne hye ne nsa okọ tumfo ka che ne se won de tumi na hye won nsa ne yaponi bi poni mankrofo enso bi ya de ne se nya a ese utimi ka de 159 seats Akufo Addo ye yi adwuma kese ma wo baaye 169 na yes akọ na 137 yes akọ do 87 enti mi busa se mu ya na mu ka sa asem we mu fusa ya de papa enti ka 187 na mbenya hwe enoma ni nyina afia mpanimfo no mpese ombeka no kra kire sitafia na durumra ese ye panokre ala wo de nkrofo koyo ala de nkrofo koyo ye beka no kra se ye beka kan no kra wom ni am planto obi so a so wo attach ya beka che so wo ti wonom na wo wo ye do ko house in wonom no ya akoya yi wonom no wo sisa agreement ho se hehe obi akokusa check ya emra wo ye lawyer wo unimra unimade wo ka che se ye ntwan ye behu emra wo na ye yo minister ama authority as tikafo ochi na wo momu no e ka che obi se obi ni made ya na ka wo su ni made ya wo ye do be kire no e ka no ya bogu no wo ntimi ahu nyansa obi wo ye lawyer wo wa mo bia be se tikafo wo ochi emra wo ntimi afa wo mra no ntimi anye enti wo mu nya empty head
what me aka ode me aka empty head abem de wa pacho wa adwobre wate Mr. Time na so kra but Mr. Gideon Bajenti was na akwesi woni ba Michael
Sofia memo wadwena what to say
yeah ja mpacho nyankopon adaro man mpacho so
you used to be on your pa you see ayache adwuma
so nka na say mi amini say adwuma ntia
Sofia mi mom de ade ba ko America say Ghana no constitution almost sana na omoma oman no eniye ze Ghana ma bread because we share Europe akwan mo fa so ye omo niema no sa na ye niema nka oman ne ho atoyi ade no oman ye ya chichire oman no mani nyina efiri oman mu ye nyene ho ye mpanimfo ko hia parliament ansem om ko kika no se bi oti akira na odwene ho se asa agro bi na edi ni parliament emrante enye adwumanye emeba enye adwumanye ye nyina sese ayi kase de abrofisom de ship ko akosi Ghana ye beba kura senslate trade table o ye beba sen table adintira because o man mo nwene ye ho sa ne man na o mo sesande ye de nyame asese o mbetimi no o nyire o mo nye na sa gracia de no kurani wa sise pia ka no kro from 92 basis abi sa sika no magency di bie factories ya nka Ghana factories anke wo we nyina ye nye wo ba de bia sa sika no o mo je adentina minister bia timnya kam yinu minister baako okuta Land Cruiser no se okuta pickup baako o police ni wo garden no bibia ye masa ampanimfoi ba oba yen eto aba no a ye ni hwe ntimi me ka da bia se wo beka se wo ye Ghana ni no me hunu ade a wunya mfaso a wunya se Ghana ni e wo man ni mu cheza wo dia ne se tuato na ye adwuma pa bo abinom na omo no aniye na mo amaka ndie mo ntena ase sese wo tuwe ya to tasia bedine but wo tuwe wo hware kra hospital mo ja kra wo kotwe a je se okọ ba bi no akotwe edi yesre omo niema bi atisa omo nyimfiri na afeisa empanimfo na ye pa omo a ye memo omo sa cars bebiri no mfa so ni so DCE some DEC Italy am kotra ye ayi obi ade ne ka ne ba adwuma so nti yesre omo sa niema na masika no ko bebiri no omo hwe wono sisa niye na fe o mama nso no omo nwene ya wonye nya ahoto me masem ana
yo Mr. Gideon me na wase na Brakoti good evening.
Good evening. Pacho na what to say?
Pacho nyankopon da roma na Bra Michael me say na yi ne teteko sa oba na
Afisha panso so.
Yeah fingo metu yen.
Stefia, nyankopon hia pa any pastor titi wachi o. Un say ensema over the years for the past 15-20 years what champion ya kan ho asem nyina un say na ni nyina appeal constitutional review committee report ni. Yeti oman mu na chese bibia ebe matimamufo ho ato omo no. Omo ho ntimi ntomo Stefia. Where are we heading towards as a nation? And where is the future of that particular nation? Into no make a crime mechanic say a partial report no aba. Na also koto manima make that amendment in implementation no. Heso na assembly a committee ni kan bia no. Fanya ejuma cause the ejuma is going to work well, for the total liberation of the people in Ghana. Because nipa bebre o hono ma I didn't want here, but because of position now, or Nintino, Tintina also heading, or so. Every son any pay, or ye well to do person now, who hears I didn't find a way. Now, S Gracia, Obi do one term, or quite S Gracia, Obi at an over 24 years, 26 years, every 4 years be S Gracia. Stefia. But Chokaka mecano, na Tim Ken so the you need intino. They say is it a nyakasa baby? They say the nyakasa baby.
Okay.
Ya lose grounds na ya boy rabbit ya into the nyakasa baby. Nyakasa baby that's it.
Yo, now go see that baby. Bra Michael, good evening.
Oh, good evening, Steffi. I'm Patrick Apomoy.
What's way?
And I'm going to member official panso. Steffi, you see, for committee now a committee na your my no may feel say great, but yet ya my no na problem na say ni obesan me
volume kakra my
na me ka say ya my no enya no na problem no na the obesan me age atum eno na hia. And then Ghana, your biggest problem. No, you see now what can be about say only on 24 can be about cost. Steph, I may come to us say I dream pa ma Ghana your politicians in a trima. So because of what actually free crowd or month time enye. So cost $2 crowd month time. May come to us I dream pa mom because I did you see no cray woman say me ana mash yani ashe committee no say enkoye adwuma me. Now enkoye adwuma ba be catch him say me ntumi ho ade so. Me your hene o koye ade abreme a o ya abrem se mentumi ho ade so a o feel say me sign easy sir ye ka cost ne de ye mfa nto nchen cost ahia
okay
say ye ka ade na nkasa na this ye nya obi o ye committed na adwen pa won team so pese o move Ghana forward cost no de mo bi anka cost no asem because ye nim how are you waste ye sika enti cost no de nye problem na ade ba kwa na me nim so mo de kan ho a ade bia o mo hye o mampanyin so nyi bia no me meye I will be glad say e kan ho say wanya me nsunsu aso ye sei ane be kɔ ne so eni kwan say ye kyerɛ sɛ ɔmampanyin no ɛyɛ sɛ oye sei eni kwan sɛ ɔma minister bia from parliament na asefo but wanya e de ne de be yɛ ɔmampanyin no I think say e kan ho I will be grateful say kan ho so a e twa say ye channel kɔ because ye nim ye mampanifo yi obetumi akyekyere ne nsa e de na kɔgyina nsuo ho ba wontumi mfo so no ma ne num nsuo no sɛ e bibia nhyɛ ne keten sɛ wanya e bia ɔno a no o impeach ne ho a omu bebu omani agusu a ye best time enso omo fanye adwuma papa bia enti kakra me de na say your last one ye can be about say young politicians no ye can say na ye can say young politicians no
omonye de beboa you see ni nya so nipa na ye wom no so yeso ye ka ho ye kese pa na say EU farmers the omo ye no omo show no omo ekye say mre bia eye say omo sign na ni kwa say omo sign ema South America omo nya sa liberty no ene yi no mpanifo no person omo ye asensan e ka den ko omo hye omo kuro no baako farmers no de omo koye ho no that is nkofo a omo pe change omo mentality o enye ye de no ntimi eto bia ye politician no kra de eto bia me pese e be ka o masem because o ka na asem wie ya nipa na wo fie no o se koye no honorable o se kom heli nipa na ma nipa na ye
Okokotokoto no.
okokotokoto no onya de bia ma ne nye se de wo ko na wo ko ama no no so fight it for no self the camp omnia the yasoyini politicians no adiesie but at the end of the day no yabakotokoto politicians they always come out when I'm sponsor away me woska ya bia omo kan omo woska wo ni sika onye ho say how are they making their money ya bia ni pani si
very well mato ase
how are they making their money
mato ase Michael I mean now ase baby bra Michael so light no wo ka nim because ye hu kra and so network na house I tiko na ba ubetimi aso
Utiminga
meton ka ba light na wo ka nim ubetimi aso
oh okay
kasa
yo Stevia yo me that say you can say your constitution me from day one me see power na the president no Stevia too much so mo reduce no say constitution review mo here no me I like the idea e good nyama bebre wo so mo hwe no mo yi free mu hwe MPs ni say o say hwe NDC form majority all right o ba bebre nko parliament bebre nko bebre bu efu ko so mo nya minister position no mo bu efu bebre nko
omo ministers no mo come ministry rather
ba jamu but the nya positions bebre efu omo nko she say minister MP NDC or majority baba pime na ntimi yi defense minister ntimi yi defense minister
Rollins bano Zeneto
da ben
yeah da ma Zeneto
okay na say the man no okay fine yeah, the man dey fine Stevia mami nko your promise ni so me tie free and Japan camp na mo ka sem bi say Ghana for say yakoyi wrong candidate Bawumia nti de nyama yakọ so na do na memu no Bawumia is part of it but me bi say asem wa o Kennedy Japan no or Kwabibre FC ana
yeah right
is that maybe say Kennedy no Kwabibre FC
now when me abuza me question is it baby o
asira me bi say o ale no nka akufado amemo no no nka ho onye body we
no ka ho mum no ka ho
yeah onye body chema everyday activities oya report ma wana
okay
inte asem nika why inte asem nika Mr. Fia, me delegate. I was once a delegate before in Ashama constituency.
Okay.
Yeah, delegate. Me dey be ka say me sira o mo say. Then see me do Bawumia ntino say. Bawumia or vice president, onye president. But what me selling no ho and marketing no ho. Ama ya MPP no. Ya papa na sem. Because our contributing for Nanado ni winning for 2 terms now, but me contribute heavy pa. Time all year the lectures front and back in no, like it was doing good. What on no? Inti asem fi bia ni papa we hu. The NDC for be bia no. O ma kan for Bawumia economy na ma cancer. Wow. Inti Bawumia he stand tall. Inti message delegate say yan to ba ma Bawumia. Now fire nko bo chat asene so. By best share stay vie Wow, me can I pour me in time? No, but who's I got try YouTube? This some okay now. No, like me see. Who see 190? Stefia, me ba who see 190 companies? So, when I got so company now, who see uchira GRA better. Hey, so you want to become a president and I'll done free taxes home. Hey, Radina Gobo. Hey, GRA for Jaramuai. Obi on done himself 190 companies. So, on that. It's a family leader. No, I got taken as a mo. Yeah, it's delegate, yeah, Paucho, Mamma Colobia, and the Mudana, Hotrebi, then Timmy Quayade, and Timmy got defending. Timmy defending. This is the that was why.
Oh, me that's Michael. I know if you buy me a camp into one of the fire can and one okay. Good evening.
Good evening, Stefia Fisher Powell.
I think I'm at the end. Yeah, when you go on price, I visit now. What I want day.
Na Bibia, amen. We did make constitutional review. No, me full report being kind, but bullet points now,
I can send you the full report because I think what I have.
Okay. I made the better now. So into bullet points, but I think that a very good timing for the current president. No, that normally this should be his last term. I just think no interest or so to me a fix Bibia mine. And I be asking so because me share opinions Libya. To say presidential age they say 30 years. Brilliant. Because then now the 40 lie about big this no, especially say offer a traditional party simua. Because say umrenso 20 ube do not say yet to a tradition of 60 plus no. Oh, I know some why from experience so far. I think they're very brilliant. And also MPs now, I see you cannot be MP at the same time a minister. No, very good. Because a clear separation of the executive from the legislature. To say a bit say Sam George or the BB called parliament or now for bro. I just say it all goes to his benefit. There should be that clear way. A very, very good initiative. And there's been kind of but just few ones dual citizenship way so. And say very good. Me come will be because Obi will have person boy Ghana, but for some reason or to abroad so Obi here and people in the IBB. What I say. And just for the mere fact that we dual citizenship mean for MP and any other way and yet good. For president, I think also president a symbolic position. You have to have only the Ghanaian, but other way I think say very good. And all in all, the here say President Mahama bet me I consider no act swiftly on it because no way no. To be honest, or not the AB or Pepano, but your uncle Fonso or Mujan in Chomo other interests. I'm betting me a people where they also am why on it. He has to be very firm. A idea that was saying that politics almost by politicians need to buy no. And he has to be very firm. I don't need the main thing. And one thing I mean, so I don't mean someone can watch them there rope no.
Up till now. Yeah, Ropa no and Attorney General press conferences. I think he made that point.
Okay, so more address here, so say very, very important. Now, last
the committee, no, I've not seen it in the committee report. About Ghana for I've not seen it in the committee report. I've not seen it.
Okay.
I've not seen
it. And a missing joint because I know because and I make a real name. Chrome ha obi a French nina sort Brazil with me to about half through the embassy. What I say, I think say no dear say nkan a strong on bet me I who be my can so beboa. And lastly, say panel about count decentralization. No. One of the key basic principles of development too, because Uti radio probably say peace. Omenya call a free a crabia secret say peace for mum neighbor man say patrol na say fire service for muti and can very, very like to say an emrimpa in the money there. I think say a basic for nation building, very basic. And at least even you can constituency level cry too broad. India, I mean, kind of simple district
a
level.
unit committee, like various towns.
Yes,
That's
with
the
the
smaller,
Eka district.
you know. Under district, we also have unit committees, which is like the micro districts in the district.
Yeah. But okay, say BBS started from district, it can be a bit important because in some degree, even healthcare, social welfare issues near identity, you might be also a bit more solving for decentralization. No? Until the so now cast of time as soon team.
But just for clarification, I think Obi can Minister of Defense Michael Pacho Zeneto still like Atuforsin is acting Minister of Defense. The American is not true. I think they propose some of the Bema Zeneto, but still like Atuforsin who is acting as substantive minister for and so an actual substantive Minister of Defense. Enjoy a discussion. We will follow up and see the white paper now. President and Crawford about this because we idea Mahama benefit no yen Ghana for constitutional review recommendations and benefit. Mahama de obeko the time so probeko but this is a recommendation idea it will help us beyond 4 years, beyond 8 years near the na emboying as a Ghana no na yesha kwan ye nyina ebetimi akọ. And I think this one ye nyina aka say it's a big legacy and a President Mahama Eja Amana Hono that this see if he's able to implement all these recommendations he will become historically he would have made a big history in Ghana democracy. You're from a Vim lady. I want to say I said a JC or TikTok but StreamYard and yeah TikTok there any weekends near long one year come on some TikTok better and also maybe over the weekend. But and then we've been looking at Constitutional Review Commission report or the aba any emphasize as Ghanaians on this. Next week. We're live on OK 101.7 FM, but we're also live on High Life Radio, NASPA Radio, Kings Jersey Radio, Nimigatu FM. Next week we'll meet again. So thank you. Good night. Thank you.